All right, good morning, everyone. Okay, so welcome back for the students, cohort 9 students. Okay, yeah, today is week 0. Okay, supposedly our class to be started by next week, but because after some of the discussions in the previous portfolio, we decided to start at week 0 because then you have more times for you to uh, proceed with your site work first, okay, before we meet up next week. All right, so without further ado, okay, maybe let me start off with the quick briefing first before we start with our studio briefing by today. Okay, I know that we have around 16 um, cohort 10, which is the new students. I'm not sure whether have you registered yourself. Okay, some of you have registered because you have texted me personally. Some of you probably you have received the offer letter, but you still haven't registered yet. Okay, so you can refer to our academic office later. Okay, so please let me know once you have registered because you have to proceed with the course registrations. Okay, after the registrations of the admissions to UTM. Okay, there are some processes that you have to go through. All right. Okay, so maybe let me start first. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Yeah. Together with us, we have Architect Chan Wai Lai. Okay. Our thesis and pre-thesis coordinators for MR Persisale or offshore program today's. Okay. So Architect Chans are going to brief you about the studio uh, side as well as what is do and don'ts in the for the studio submissions and so forth later. So now I'm going to start with the general briefing first. Okay. So welcome to all the new students. Okay, we have around 16 of you all and our previous students as well. I mean, all students. Okay, yeah, welcome back to the new semesters after a short break. For your after you right after you have done your MBS 2123. Okay, so yeah, when you are joining these schools, it's important for you to know the important phases lah. Okay, even though they are management, but at least when people asking about who is your dean, okay, then you should know who is she. She is Professor SR Dr. Caronita. Okay, so she is the dean for our Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying in UTM-JB here. Okay, even though you all located in UTM KL, but at least the deans, this program is also under the FABU in JB, okay? And the rest of them are Timbalan Dekans, okay, we have Timbalan Pendaftar and Penolong Dekan, okay? And the other important person, which is out of these 6 important pengarah, is our Associate Professor, Architect Dr. Lim Yitwa. He is the directors of program of Seni Bina, which is architecture. Okay, so you should know Professor Dr. Karonita and Architect Dr. Lim Yitwa. Okay, all right. So this is the organization chart after the faculty level. Okay, we have Associate Professor Architect Dr. Lim Yitwa, the director. Then we have Dr. Fatlina, which is the important person that in charge of the undergraduate program. Then we have Dr. Faisal, who he is in charge of the research program. And Dr. Roshida, yeah, she is in charge of the mainstream program while I'm in charge of the offshore program. So anything that regarding to the offshore program, okay, you may refer to me lah. Okay, and the rest of them, at least you know, because you're going to meet them at the ends of the semesters. Okay, regardless you are going to JB or they are coming to KL. Okay, last time we used to do alternately. Okay, one semester at JB, one semester at KL, but it depends on the decisions of the schools at the midst of the semesters later. Okay, other than that, other than me myself as the program coordinator, so we have Mr. Firdaus Zakaria. Okay, Mr. Firdaus. He is the assistant of program coordinator. We're in charge of your registrations. Okay, in charge of your course and so forth. Those about the management of your subject. Okay, he is the one that in charge of this. And we have Dr. Nurul Asrin Aslan. Okay, she is based in UTM Kuala Lumpur. She has been appointed as the offshore program manager. Okay, then we have Architect Chan Wai Lai with us today. She is the one that in charge of the design thesis and pre-thesis management. She's the coordinator that managing the studio programs. Okay, so about studio submission, your manuscript submission, GSD, and so forth. Okay, she will in charge of that. All right, about the schedules and so forth, and we have already drafted it. So about the details wise, okay, he has the final call. Okay, final say in this case. So about the studio, you can refer to her. All right. Okay. Again, not to forget about our architect Nur Shahida Azili. Okay, thank you very much to her for supporting the Persistent program from 2019 to 2023, and because she's going to study and further her study in PhD. That's why I inherited lah or passed over the position to me for this semester. So today's is consider my first week lah. Take over the offshore program coordinators positions. So before that is handled by architect Nur Shahida Azli. Okay, so for this contact, okay, even though it looks like normal, you can get online, but it's very important. For example, for the new students matters because not all the things are in charge by me, by architect Shah and so forth. Because UTM, we have different management, right? Some of the thing is not being known by us as well. So it means that, so like for example, the registration thing, admissions, okay, before pass it to us, okay, before you have officially become an official student, or maybe fees and so forth is not under our jurisdiction. So you have to check with the SPS office. So for SPS office, there are two. One is in Johor Bahru, the other one in KL. Like for example, you have to remember and bear in mind that for Johor Bahru, the weekend is falls on Friday and Saturday. And for KL, the weekend is falls on Saturdays and Sunday. If you have some questions to ask on Friday, let's say, so you have to call KL because once when you're trying to call JB, no one will pick up your phone. Okay, so that's the times that you have to bear in mind. Have to always remember that. Okay, you are in UTM. The main campus is actually in UTM JB. Okay, so this is the office hour. So you can start the operations hours for Johor Bahru campus starts from 8:30 to 12:30. They have break hours from 1 to 2, and they start from 2 to 4:30 because they still have remaining half an hours for them to manage the program, the events of the day. That's why they have to close the lines. So the Thursdays is only operate until 3 p.m. This one you have to remember. Okay, Thursday in JB only operate until 3 p.m. Official office hour until 3:30. Okay, but the office line will close at 3. Okay, so this is for Johor Bahru. For KL, Monday to Friday as usual, as what you have practiced in your office, at 30 until 5. But office line will close at 4:30. The recess is around 12:30 to 2 p.m. Okay, so please bear in mind. So important contacts. Okay, if you want to, those are the general line for the SPS. But if you want to specifically call to Persistent program or the special program, so this is the numbers that you have to call to. UTM Persistent, okay, is under SPS. So these are the numbers. 07 is JB line, okay. Then this is a website. Then if regarding to the finance, like for example, you want to ask about the fees, you want to ask about the cost and so forth, where to pay the school fees, please call Department of Offshore Program, the Finance Department SPS. Okay, so they will answer your the calls regarding to this finance. So for application, new students, SRAT, this is the one that I meant. Some students ask me what is SRAT? It's Student Recruitment and Admission Divisions. So this is the department that in charge of your they will issue your offer letters, okay, the admissions and so forth. So admission at utm.my. Okay. So once you have finished the studies, then or you want to get the transcript, your results for every semester. So the academic management division. So this is the phone numbers, huh? Okay, or you can email them. Okay, so academic records, transcripts, and convocation. So this is the numbers. So I will share this slide to you later, or you can snap screen for you to keep as a record when you need this context. Okay. So important dates, yeah, this one is the official and general the important dates by released by schools. Okay, so registration of course for semester 1 online. So don't worry about this, even though today is 8th of October. Okay, but for the new students, okay, you have to register latest by this week lah. For the current students, cohort 9, 7, 8, and so forth, I think I have shared the information with you last week. So hopefully you have registered because today is the last day. Okay, so for the current student, please note down and quickly register by today because today is the last day, or else you are going to get the fine lah. You have to pay the fine. Okay, so the new semester's lectures starts from for Perdana student, they start from today, but for Persisale we start from next coming Saturday. So do not forget to present yourself to the class UTM KL, the student lounge, or J04, okay, by next Saturday. We are going to meet up, okay, there. I think in the details wise, Architect Chan will brief you, okay. Yeah, we have to meet up day, okay, by Saturday on Sunday or Sunday. Okay, probably you have to go to site first and yeah, or the other way around. So that one, Architect Chance will brief you later. So next week, will be our week 1. Okay, so studios are going to start by next week. But for this week, we advise and we hope that you can start to form your group to visit the site first and discuss about what you should do first. This because it's giving you a 3 weeks. Okay, 0 to 1 means another additional week. But in the same time, do not forget to register yourself. Okay, so deadline for the registration of the courses, okay, online, okay, is this week. The one is UTM-JB, one is KL. So please refer to UTM KL one. And we have the amendments of the course registration. If there are some amendments to be done, the last date is on 15. Late registration of the courses with penalties. You have to pay for it if you have want to doing the late registrations and so forth, but hopefully not lah. There's a penalties of 100 ringgit will be imposed for each course for the late registration. So please do not be late because I cannot control. This is out of my jurisdiction. Okay, this is by the university. So please follow the timetable closely as possible. So deadline for the late registration of courses with penalties, okay, 23rd of the October. So the rest of it are the same lah. You can see the deadlines and when is a mid-sem break and withdrawal or deferments of the courses. So it's the course withdrawal is 13 November to 8 December. Okay, during the before the mid-sem break. So if students you wish to like withdraw, okay, or defer, okay, like take a break for these semesters, we have to inform before or between 30 to 8 December. Okay, so the course withdrawal after the amendments of the course registration period will not affect the fees for the semester. Okay, if you choose to withdraw within this period of time. Okay, so if happens after, the penalties will be imposed. Okay, so remember each of the actions that you are taking, okay, you plan to do, please trying to make sure you make the decisions earlier, or else the penalties will be imposed. This is imposed by university. not by us, not by faculties. So you have to follow it closely. So deadline for the course withdrawal is at December's, okay, at 5 p.m. But this one is with penalties. Deadline for deferments of the program, so before is on 29. Revision weeks will happen on 22nd to 28th, and we have the final exam. Okay, for some of the students, like current students, you are taking MBS 1033, right? There is a final exam, okay, for you. MBS 12163 also have final exam. Okay, then the rest of it, if not mistaken, I think only coursework. Okay, but the submissions of the assignment have to be done. That one will be briefed by respective course studio, the course owner. So final break will happen on 31st of February after the exams. Okay, so this is the summary, okay, of the chart. So please remember, I think I have go through just now. So this one is the graphical mode, okay, the one that with infographic is easier for you to remember. So please keep this in your handphone or note it down accordingly so that you can remember. All right. A student must register a course research every semester. Those who fail to register without acceptable reason will be terminated. So please register within week 0 or earlier. Okay. So for every semesters, the faculty will share out, will email, okay, the dates, the important dates for you to register and so forth. So please, you have to take note and take the action as soon as possible. So this is for the course registration. Register online at MyUTM portal, www.myutm.my. After that, you have to fill in accordingly. Compulsory for all the active students for every semester. The registration will be imposed 100 per course. It's not overall, per course. It's per course. Like let's say you have 2 courses to take, so it's 200. Please register according to the deadline given. Okay, then it's your responsibility. We are not going to respond, or we are not going to register for you. We will just inform you, remind you, but you have to do it by yourself. Okay, because all of you are adult already. Okay, it's not undergrad. Even undergrad have to register themselves as well. Okay, so this is the one-stop student service portal. So you can see that once you have logged in your MyUTM, so this is what we can see. Profile, so you can find your student academic record, finance record, have you paid the school fees or not, the verification letter. For international student, they have the student pass or visa. Is it expired or not? And course registration. Course registration must be done every semester within the deadline. And GSMS is the system that you do the submissions of progress report, but this is for research student lah. Okay, it's nothing to do with you, but what you can see is exam result. Then e-learning, this is important for every subject. Okay, the course owners as well as the studio masters will have their own e-learning. So students have to check the e-learnings. Okay, once you have registered, you will get the asset numbers for you to log into the e-learning. So every semester you have to follow this e-learning in order for you to see the submissions of the assignment. You have to upload into the e-learning. So what is the course information and all the important information and materials and announcement will be done in e-learning by all the course owners here. So this is very important. So you make sure that you log in from time to time to see whether this have been updated or not. And EPPP, this is the student evaluations of teaching. Okay, it's compulsory for all the students to evaluate the teachings of the studio master and lecturers. You have to give marks. We give marks to you, but in the same time, you also will like evaluate us and give comments, more to like feedback lah. It's not like the marks and so forth. It's more like the feedback and what you think can be improved. If the lecture is good, so yeah, so please say oh good and so forth, and what is so-called the good that you have think of. Maybe it's in terms of the teaching methods or maybe the materials and so forth. So as a rewards to your lecturers, because EPPP is very important for the schools and for the lecturers and for sure the students. So please fill these in for every semester. Okay. So the grading system in UTM, so please take note on this one for all the subject. Passing grade is B minus and above. So make sure your studio, your subject, you get B minus and above. Okay. So student must repeat any courses if they fail before graduating. Okay. To be safe, trying to get A lah. Okay. B plus, B minus is the borderline. Okay. So this is sufficient or for you to pass the particular subject. It's unlike the undergraduates. Undergraduates, at least we can get like, I think is D something. Okay, but for master, normal. B minus is the minimum baseline that you have to score for every subject, every semester. Okay. Okay, so for the lectures for semester 1, for those who are taking the studio, so Architect Chan Wai Lai, the thesis coordinators, is the head of panel number 1. So together with her, we have Dr. Sharifah, academic panel 1, and Architect Muhammad Faris Hilmi, architect panel number 1 as well. So you are going to meet up Architect Chan first, okay, and in the first week, okay, together with me as well. And Dr. Sharifah will be second week. So for Architect Faris will come, we will present in the studios in your week 1, which is your seminar, the week 4. Okay, so 3 of these panelists are going to help you in your studio. Okay, regardless in the same times during the scheduled trip, okay, or the respective time that we have sorted out in the schedule. I will share it later. Okay. Okay, so these are the name lists for the who are part under panel 1, who is under Architect Chan Wai Lai. So please take notes on your names. Okay, we have so far 8 students here for will sit the MBS 1019 social culture, and the other 3 students under cohort 9 will sit under MBS 1059, the urbanism, the pre-thesis number 2. So students, please take note. So after that, the respective panels are going to set up the WhatsApp group for you to communicate within the group lah. So the so-called the big group is what I have shared and communicate with you all the while. Okay, these are so-called the major group lah, the general group. Okay, so if there is any announcement, Architect Chan will inform you in the general WhatsApp group. Okay, as what you have added in now. All right. For the individual, like for example, the change of the time of crates and so forth, that one will be announced in the other group again, which is under the controls of the respective the panels or work-based master. Okay. So for panel 2, will be led by me. Okay. Then we have Injek Khairul Istiha. He's the academic panel number 2. And these are the details. And Architect Aslan will be the architect panel number 2 as well. Okay. So these 3 persons are going to assist the panelists 2 lah, in terms of the studio progress. Okay. And the studio related work will give comments and critiques from time to time. So these are the name lists of the students that who are going to part under panelist number 2, which is led by me. Okay, and other than that, we still have another 3 pre-thesis 3 students, which is Sustec. Okay, part under 2089. Sorry, and 2159 design thesis. We have 2 final thesis students will be part under panelist number 2. Okay, so for lectures for semester 1, these are the subject. Like for the new students for this semester, you are going to take 1043 architecture research method. Okay, so do not forget to register yourself in the 1019 as well as 1043 architecture research method. So your lecturer will be Dr. Izid. Okay, this is his details. And Dr. Tengku Intan, okay, will handle the design thesis dissertation. okay, especially for the 4 cohort 9 students, okay, you are going to take the subject under 2176 design thesis dissertation, Dr. Tengku Intan. So she's going to give the briefing by today as well, okay, in other link. So please take note. And we have Architect Anis. For this is for cohort 9 and 8 students, okay, and she will handle the 1033 and 2163, and Dr. Sharifa 1073 for the 4 the cohort 9 students. She will in charge of the current issue in architecture theory and design. So students, we have unlike the Perdana students, we have set the menu for you. So please follow closely. So do not say, oh, I want to take the other subject. Please, yeah, we don't have this. I mean, so far, because we don't have enough crowds for us to have this kind of the privileges yet. That's why we set the menu for you. We have already designed and set for you this semester what subject you should take. Okay, this has been happens for the past 9 cohort already. Okay, so this one we have done it. So don't worry about what you should take. You just follow what we suggest. Okay, then you just register accordingly only. No need to worry. So this is the overall list of the subject and the students that who are sitting under the subject. We have around 16 students. So for the first year student, first semester student, please register yourself first before you register the course. Okay. Then for the students that are going to take Architect Ani subject 1033 at students, and we have Matia will take this subject, but also will part under Architect Anis. So the class will happen in the same time lah. But Architect Anis will brief you regarding to the subject and course and so forth. Then the other one, 4 students, Jasamel, Xingyan, Emran, and Zinrong. So these are 2 subjects that you have to take, okay, other than 1033. So for this semester. So 4 of them do not have studio because they have finished all the pre-thesis before they go to thesis. So they're just taking the subject for this semesters only. The rest of the student, we will pair up 1 studio subject, which is 9 credit, and 1 non-studio courses, which is 3 credit. Maximum course that the credit hours that you can take is 12 for each semester. 9 plus 3 equals to 12. So just nice lah. For those students, they do not have any studio, so we will pair them out for the non-studio subject this semester. So these are the link. Okay, you can see the briefing days, the details. I think I've shared this earlier. So the class will be happens physically at UTM KL. So except today, because today is week 0, we still don't have an official place yet. That's why we do it online first. It's easier for you to catch up, okay? And we will share the recordings later. Okay, so official class starts at 8th of October. Okay, follows by the subject week will be happens on week 3, 28th of October. Okay, second week will be 14th of October. This will be handled by Dr. Sharifah, the current issue for the 4 students. Okay, so for Master in Architecture persistent students, you have to appoint the course supervisor. Sorry, we will appoint for you, but you have to suggest to us. So please tag this link. Okay, please tag up this link. I will share it later. Okay, in the chat box when Architect Chan giving the briefing later. So you have to, all of you, make sure you are working students, because you are persistent students. You must you must be a working student in order for you to enroll yourself in the offshore program. Okay, so other than us, the 3 panelists that I have explained just now, you have to get someone from your office with AR title, or someone, if you are not working in the architect office, okay, you have to tag the AR, appoint somebody that you know, okay, with AR in order for you to go along with these courses. So, lantikan terdahulu prinsipal or majikan pelajar, but lantikan tetap dibuat setiap semester with TOR. Once you have share us your information, we will come out with the surat lantikan with terms of reference, TOR, for your boss to sign. or for the appointed architect that you have assigned. So they have to agree, they have to sign on the TRR and pass it back to us, and you have to meet him or her, okay, at least 5 times, 5 times per semester, okay, for CRIT 1, 2, 3, 4, and FTA. Okay, before that, you have to meet him or her in order to get the comments. So you have to fill in the log sheet, just like you taking part 3. Okay, you have to fill in the log sheet for every semester. Okay, that log sheet is called GST form. It's being entitled for 5 marks here. So please meet up your office supervisors and fill in the log sheet, signed by him or her, chopped by him or her, and scan it and upload into the Google Drive. So that for that one, Architect Chang will brief in details, or maybe in the mid of semester we will tell you. So please meet up and get the log sheet done, and it will entitled for 1 marks per sheet. Okay, that's why overall you should have 5 sheets. All right, if you want to have more, that's even better. Okay, like you want to have 10 times meet up and fill in 10 times of the log sheet, it's much more encouraged. So in order for you to get the advice for the internal and external plannings of your design project, services, law, regulation, structure, construction and materials, special focus study, and maybe in terms of the presentation layout, okay, the board layout, you want to get some comments from your architect supervisors, yeah, please do so. Okay, so please note it down in the log sheet and pass it back to us, soft copy. So this is very important because for this studio, I mean, for these courses, so far we still dealing with LAM for the accreditation. This the program haven't yet to get the accreditations from the Lembaga of Architect Malaysia, but we have for the past at cohort, they have already sit for the LAM review. Means that after their part, I mean the studies, okay, once they have finished off their studies in UTM, okay, before the convocations, once you get the Senate letter, so we will write into the LAM to saying that there are how many students have graduated and they are interested to go for the review. Means that you only need to bring your final thesis board, okay, your course informations as well as your pre-thesis works, okay, to the Lembaga of Architect Malaysia physically, and they will review again. They will look at your work again and ask you few questions, okay, before they award you with the LAM Part 2 title. So we have around 90% of our students, okay, can say so, have passed through the LAM Part 2 review. So it's an additional effort lah, compared to other, I mean, the Perdana student, because Perdana, we have the accreditations for every 5 years, okay? But for Persisale, you have to go by yourself, okay? Register by yourself, but we will assist you, will support you in this case, in order to liaising with the Lembaga Architect Malaysia. So far there is no problem for us. We have been done for many cohorts and they have passed their part 2 already. Some of them is preparing for their part 3 already. So far this one is totally fine. Okay. Ya, pelibatan arkitek profesional bagi semester ini dan seterusnya pemilihan berdasarkan kriteria yang ditetapkan oleh jabatan or with MOU. So the professional architect, if those students do not have any AR, okay, hopefully you will get your own, okay, because you knowing well who is the dealing or maybe create you wells and so forth. If you really don't have, like for example, you do not work in the architect office, we are trying to assist in this case. We are trying to like for example, architect Asan, okay, they are willing to be appointed, okay, as a co-supervisor in the same time. So the meeting will happen from Mondays to Fridays, so this is outside the class hours. So for the meetings of the co-supervisor, for example, with your bosses, you can meet him or her after your office hours in order to get the comments from him regarding to your studio project. Okay. So please give us the details for us to issue the offer letters to your bosses or the co-supervisors later. So reminder to all the students, be alert of the important dates and time that I have shared just now. course registration, and course fees and payments. So please, this one have to refer to Bendahari UTM lah. So please make sure you pay your school fees lah. For example, the processing fee, okay, for the settle your fees before the end of the semester. But if you face some issues, I mean, in terms of payment, please showing your efforts to pay by installments. Okay, so if not mistaken, you can break into threes the different installments for each semesters. Okay, so for the payments wise, at least you pay some of it. If you are facing some issues to I mean in terms of the payments wise, at least you pay a bit of it. Okay, for example, there is one student last time she have faced some issues in the payments, but at least she pay few hundreds, okay, until he fulfill the whole payments in the particular full semesters, okay, the end of the semester. Because without the full payment, okay, you're not allowed to attending the class, but in the same time, at the end, you are not allowed to sit for the final exam, and you are not going to see the result lah, or even the registration for the next semesters. Okay, so please take efforts to pay for it. So if you at least you show the efforts, like for example, you paying a bit by a bit, okay, then we can easier for the SPS, the schools, to give some of the so-called like the support for you lah, if they need to present to the Bendahari and so forth. So you must show your effort. So if possible, trying to settle it, okay, before the end of the semester. So there are some dates for you to refer. So course withdrawal. So we have the course withdrawal deadline as what I have shown just now, and lecture schedules. That one I will share it later for the new students. For the current student, I think that you have got this lecture schedule. Please follow closely, because every week will be handled by the different lecturers and different courses, because all the subject will be crammed in Saturday and Sunday. Hence, you have to see, okay, week one, what is the subject or what is the that you are going to attend for. Okay, maybe it's a studio. So like week three is the subject. That's why you have to prepare for that in before you come to the classes. So do not go to the wrong class. Huh? So you have to make sure that you follow the lecture schedule closely. Note it down in your calendars in the handphone, and make sure that you prepare before you come to the studio. Submission of the assignment, test, assessment, portfolio, and examination. These are also the other important deadline. I mean the debt that you have to take notes. Huh? Okay. So check your official email. Once you have registered yourself, we're going to give you your names at graduate.utm.my. So you have to check it from time to time, because some of the circulars released by university. So you have to check. Okay, so we are not accessible to your email, so we do not know whether you have seen it or not. So please do it yourself. You have to update with the current information instruction, and please use official UTM email regularly for all your academic matters. Like for example, you want to do Rayuan and so forth. So do not use your gmail.com or your office email. Use graduate.utm.my. Okay, we have give you the official email. Please use it. To participate in upcoming school activities will be posted from time to time. Okay, that one we will share in the WhatsApp as well as the Persisales, MR Persisales Google site. To participate in the architecture students competition organized nationwide. This one will be useful for you. So don't say that, okay, I'm a part-time student. So sorry, you are not part-time student. Huh? In UTM, we do not have the name so-called the part-time anymore. Okay, so you all are same as Perdana students. Okay, but the mode of conduct is called persistent, but still full-time. So please remember this. This is one. So the other one is student competition, because you have a lot of experience in the working environment. So please make sure that you try your best in the studio project. And if you have additional times, okay, or maybe some of the effort, please join the competition. Like previously, we have one student have joined the Taiwan Excellence Competition. She's Lam Xingyan, cohort 9 student. She has won. Okay, even persistent student, even though you are rushing every way, you are rushing for your war and so forth, but we still believe that you can perform as good as the Perdana students and even other students as well, because you have the privileges and ability, okay, in order to perform better, because you have much more experience compared to them. So we will show that you can perform. So please do not give excuse to yourself, okay? Please try yourself your best, because that's only few semesters before you graduated. So that these times while you are still working students, okay, but full-time students, so that part in all the activities and competitions, okay, as being announced and shared by the schools. Okay, so for the UTM students dress code, okay, please wear properly. Okay, for guys, at least if you are not wearing the formal, at least you are wearing the collar t-shirt and long pants and shoes. Okay, so this is allowable. Okay, casual but smart as well. Okay, so you can do this when you come to the studio. Do not wear the round collar t-shirt. Okay, and slippers. No, even though it's a weekend classes, please wear properly. Okay, because this is the dress code ethics for girls. You can wear long sleeve, okay, long pants or maybe skirts, bras, okay, with the shoes, proper shoes. Okay, please bring your metric card. Okay, even sometimes I know that you are not wearing it, but at least you bring it together with you, because when you are in the campus, maybe you met the park guard and so forth. They when they suspect and they when they want to check your identity, just like you need to bring your IC lah out. This is very important. Bring it together with you, okay, all the time when you are in the campus area. And the other one, especially when you go to the site, please bring this, okay, with lanyard, so at least people know that you are students and you are doing the site work. You are not somebody's whoever are trying to do something bad, okay, with the public and so forth. So if you're wearing your metric card, at least we know that you are the UTM students. When you go to the site work, we will release you a letter for you to bring along. Okay, when you you need to interview people, you can show the letter to them. Okay, so these are all about the basic briefing. Hopefully, you know well about this one. Any questions regarding to this, students? Hopefully no. If you have questions, maybe later on you can type in the chat box. Okay, so next will be the offshore program achievement. So for semester 2, for our previous cohort students. Okay, so best overall performance. Okay, congratulations to Wen Rong. Okay, she has get the best overall performance with the highest CGPA and GPA for the previous semesters. Okay, congratulations, Rong. And we have best designer. Okay, for semester 2, we have Jasamir bin Abdul Sani. His urban the PTC 2 project is about Sentoh Hike Away. It's about the females issues about the females. Okay, she got the A minus grade lah. So we will issue them certificates, okay, of achievement of the best designer and best overall for the every beginnings of the semester. So for all the new students, okay, and the current students, so work out your best lah in order to for you to get this achievement, because this will be good for your portfolio later when you let's say you want to naik pangkat ke, or you want to change office and so forth. So this is good for you. So please make sure that you do your best, okay, in the design studios. Okay, because last semester we only have urbanism studios, and the rest of the studio are only 1 or 2 students. That's why we only have 1. Like for next semester, if we have more studios, so each studios are going to have 1 best designer. Okay, so you still have chance. Work hard, nah? All right. Next one will be the Google site for our Persist Sales program. So I will share this link later, okay, together with the office supervisor's form later for you to fill in. So you have to check this from time to time, okay? So congratulations on your achievement for the students, and welcome to all the students. To accomplish the great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. So we know that we have planned the best out of us. Okay, you see that some of the lecturers, all of us, the supporting staff, even though after the office hour, we still working. We still plan out the schedules and plan everything for you. So make sure that you work as hard as possible in order for you to score the good result. Okay, because we know that we want to produce more architects for our future nation. So we know that you are working, and at the same time you are attending the weekend class. Okay, but in the same time, we also spend our weekend for you as well, because supposedly weekend Friday, Saturday, right? But we also working because we know that we want to give our best for our nation, but so do you. So please work together, okay, in order to achieve the better nation, okay, and fulfill your dream. I know all of you want to become AR, right? So please do work hard now, okay, in order for you to achieve that. Work together with us. So don't give up easily. I know that you are penat. Okay, some of the students, they even travel, from Singapore. I've a previous student travel all the way from Penang, Police, Perak also got, okay, from Singapore, from Johor also got. So now most of you are staying in Klang Valley. So I think you are much more better compared to them. So they have to come out after they walk, they have to travel the bus by bus, okay, all the way from Singapore to JB to from Perak, Penang to KL just to attend the class. So do not give yourself any excuses, say, oh, and so forth, since you are living in the Glenberry, because we know that you can do it. And me, myself, Architect Chan, and all the lecturers, actually, we are from JB. Okay. Because of this program, we know that we will want to serve. We know that you want to serve all the country. So we come all the way from Johor Bahru, travel every weekend. Okay. And at the Sunday, we have to travel back because Monday studio in JB. Okay. So same goes to you. You are working on Monday. We also working on Monday. Okay. So please, yeah, be considerate and we work it out together because we know that we can do it. Right. So stay positive, stay fighting, brave, ambitious, focused, and strong. So you have to believe. So what is the intention of you to taking this subject or course? We know that this is the weekend courses, okay? But your ultimate goal, you want to get part 3, right? So before you get part 3, you have to sit for part 2 first. That's why you enroll for this subject, okay? So make sure you know that and always bear in mind why I'm here, okay? Because we have one focus. We want to serve for a better nation in our for our country. All right, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Okay, if you have any question, you can write down in the chat box. Okay, or you want to you can open up your mic and ask question now if you have any. All right, before I pass it to Architect Chan, any question that you want to ask? No, right? Okay, if there is no questions, okay, thank you very much, everyone. So now let us welcome Architect Chan Wai Lai, our new coordinators for thesis and pre-thesis for Persisales, okay, to brief you about the studio matters. Okay, the floor is yours, Architect Chan. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Lee. Okay, good day to everyone. Okay, it's my first time holding this position as a coordinator. But before we start, okay, I actually put in some Miro bot link. Okay, I hope because some of you I have seen you once or 2 times, but some of you I think I'm still quite new to you. So could you please click into the Miro bot link with the password? And I hope that you could put in pictures of yourself, okay, your name and your contact number because I will be teaching Perdana student too. So there are some cooperations, there are some interactions between both groups. So I give you about 10 minutes to work on this. Then later I will come back. Okay, please log into the Miro link. Okay, good. I saw people coming in. And I give you about 10 minutes. You can have within these 10 minutes, you can go for a break, get a toilet break or whatever, but just get it done and I will come back to you in a while. Okay, good, everyone. Okay, so this will be a platform where I hope that all of you will know one another better in all the way that you could. To be honest, I think this is one of the lacking of the CCU is that you all of you might not able to meet with one another that frequent, in comparison with Pradana. Because let's just use every types of platform so that when you look at that person, you know that we are Cosmo and we are in which book base. Okay. And I do hope that the lecturer could put it in as well. I just want to know how many of you are actually first semester student today that when you are with us. Can I see hand raise if you are first semester student? First semester student? I think there's a raise hand button. Okay. Good to know. Okay, I haven't met the Verdana student yet, but once I meet the Verdana students, they will be putting in that informations around here. The reason I set this up is so that, if you wanted to reach out to someone to get some information from Verdana as well, these are the platform where you could get that information uh, and about what they are, who is the person that you should contact with. Okay. So for Cecil, I guess we have three. I know them, I think. Is the social culture with the first master student, one, two, three, four, five, six. I think there should be close to about 16 of you from the Cecil. There are few from the Enviro, okay? And yeah, this is from the thesis. If you are from thesis per Cecil, you could put down your names here as well. Okay. From time to time, um, if this Miro page isn't that heavy, okay, I will get the Pradana student to update their progress, throughout the semester in this Miro as well. Okay, if it's too heavy within it, maybe I will change another class. It's just so that you are aware, that you are not working alone, uh, yourself on your project, but you do have a group of people that's supporting you, and there could be a peer learning among this platform as well. Okay. Mm, okay, good. Yeah, got the PC around here. hmm I will just give another 3 minutes, then we will go back. I just want all of you to familiar with these kinds of online learning. From time to time, most of our learning will be physical, but we are hoping that there could be some interactions between the Bandana student and the Precision students. Okay, that's why we will be having this kind of platform, just so that although I think for Pradana student and Precision student, you mostly will meet next week at the first weekend. You will know one another through that site visit, and after that, most probably you will not meet one another again. But I just hope that this might serve as a platform for all of you to indirectly, have an interaction in terms of your studio progress. Good. So I think social cultures, we still have about, let's see, how many of you? We have about one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, seven of you here. Okay, one, two, three. We have all from the from this. We also know we're also taking attendance through this. What a smart way, right? Okay. 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 I just want to share a bit like for the re-urbans and the environs and the thesis, except for the social cultures, they are actually considered your seniors. You know, they have been in the CC for more than at least 2 semesters, 1 to 2 semesters. So they know the running of the studio pretty well. Okay, later on, I'm going to brief you regarding the studio running. But I have to say that by briefing you, sometimes it's difficult, you know, at that point, at this point of times um, where your understanding is not that much, you actually find it's very difficult to comprehend everything at one point at one time. But we are giving you a briefing. We will share with you later. But in detail, if you find that you really need a bit more explanation, then you can go to your senior as well. I'm sure that the running is as per the previous semester. So by going to them, you can just ask them actually how does this work? Okay, they can share with you the experience on how they get things done. So that is a bit more interaction among all of you. Okay, okay. I guess we can stop on this page. Okay, later on, if you haven't put in your photos, put ones in, uh, and complete it later. But meanwhile, let us back to the briefing. Okay, okay, I will stop sharing. Then we share again. Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Okay, now I can see the hand. Just now I couldn't. Good. Five of you here. So you have already registered, is it? Law Yuhan, Nastu, Tejin Holmes, Zakwan, and Salwan. You have already registered, is it correct? Oh, I don't know. Okay. Uh, okay. It's okay. If you couldn't edit it, I think you can request it. Okay, then later I could approve it accordingly. That and don't worry, it's not graded. It's more of an introduction kind of platform for all of us. Okay. Before we start, okay, let me just congratulate all of you one more time. Okay, to me, I always find persistent students they are very very ambitious, like adventurous. Like you are working and you are studying at the same time. I believe that it is it is not easy to juggle, but juggling is among these two big portions but you decided to do it. So since you decided that you're gonna jump into this, okay, let's prepare yourself for the coming semester. That's the aim for the start. Okay. I know it's difficult. Halfway through the semester, you might find yourself struggling, or you might find yourself facing a lot of uncertainty. But just brace through it because I think you have made the most uh, daring decisions to be persistent. What more than that? Just brace through it, and I'm sure one day, and after your graduations, we will call each and every one of you with the title AR. And when I talk to my students, I always tell them like go for your part trade, obtain that title. And I want to believe each and every one of you, by the time you finish these programs and you continue with your industrial experience, at the end of it, when we meet again, I have to call you architect, AR, and with the title in front. So let's put that as the aim, in throughout this architecture journey. Okay, I think Dr. PC has done a really good job just now by introducing quite a lot of things on the pre-thesis 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I will just briefly go through it. Of course, I will be explaining some part in detail, but whatever things that has already been covered by the PC, I will not drag on it further because today I will be delivering two lecture inputs, so it's gonna be slightly long. It's just to facilitate all of you for the coming task. Okay, so all of you could just stop me anytime with questions. So I will just answer it accordingly. If you want to text me later, fine as well. Okay. And let me find out the chat box first because I couldn't see it and I'm not aware of questions I received. Okay, let's start on the briefing. I think this has already been covered by the PC earlier. So I'm architect Chan Wai Lai, I'm a practicing architect. I'm teaching urbanism, mainly urbanism in Pradhan. But for this time round, we will have a hybrid, upgrade versions like we're gonna have urbanism and social cultures together in our panel. And we have Dr. Sharifa, and we do have one architect panel, architect Paris. Okay. And this one, pre-thesis section 3, it will be under Dr. Lim Pao Chung and Injek Kaivo together with architect Asla. Okay. So for pre-thesis, if you are aware that you're gonna be in 4 different studios. So the pre-thesis actually means that there are 3 pre-thesis, but doesn't mean that you have to take in such a sequence. It will be either you can take social culture first, following urbanism or sustainables, or the other way around. Anyway, is fine. Okay, so the sustainable technologies, we are talking to building design, building technology, efficiency, climatic response, green buildings. So this part, who is a champion? Dr. PC is a champion, so he will be leading on this studio. Okay, and we have social cultures where we talk discuss about more on the impact of culture, social economy, politics, heritage, regionalisms on architectures and society. Okay, and the urbanism, we will be looking into the macro and micro relationship in the context of urbanism and all about the urban fabric, contextual relationships, and urban developments and community impact. For your information, urbanism is sort of like my forte as well. Okay, social culture, this is my first time having social cultures. It is like gonna be a hybrid of both social culture and urbanism. So that is actually is a good integration between two of it. Okay, after the three thesis, uh, okay, then you actually we design the program in such a way that you're gonna have 3 pre-thesis, stage 1A, 1B, 1C, regardless which studio you take first, second, or third. And then subsequently from these 3 stages, you're gonna pick one of the project to move into the stage 2, where you're going to work on the thesis. Like now, we do have 2 thesis students. So what they would do is that they actually will pick one of the project, or the one they feel that it has more potential to be developed further, and then they're going to bring it to that thesis stage and develop it to be a workable scheme, to be more pragmatic, to be to refine all the spaces. So that there is a lot more to be done at the stage 2. So the idea behind is that component within the pre-thesis is that when you are in your pre-thesis, we emphasize a bit more on a lot more on the issue and problems, like what are the kind of issue you are looking at and what kind of solution that you are providing to all. And we look into the unit specific requirements, if you are designing for school, what are the things you require you to have. You set up the program, building programs uh, firmly, clearly, understand your client requirements, and you have a brief and parameter knowing what you can do and you cannot do, and you provide the design solutions, okay, together with the building regulation and authority requirements. The building regulation and authority requirement for the pre-thesis stage, maybe we will not be looking into uh, very in detail, in depth, but we do want you to consider it. Okay, of course, if there is still a slight um, lacking within that, we can understand because subsequently, when you are bringing this project stage 1 to stage 2, you will be focusing a lot more on this building regulation and requirements. And of course, not forgetting the site contextual responses. Okay, so subsequently, you are gonna repeat 3 times of the same process of these within different studio. And subsequently, you're going to choose one of it. Okay, you're going to repeat the same, understanding the issues, providing the building solution, proposing the typology within the social culture, urbanism, and sustainable technology. And then um, up until the stage 2, you're going to look into a lot more in the pragmatic way, technical way, like what is the technical solution for your building typologies? How's the structure, construction, and materiality that you need to put into consideration? And the building services, as well as the building economy and the sustainability, the practice and management, how is the maintenance going to be like, the integrated design solution, like what I mentioned earlier on the buildings regulation and authority requirement, and the site and the contextual responses. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the pre-thesis program flow 70 for 72 program. This apply to social culture and sustainable technology 72 credit. So the progressive marks, okay, there will be crit 1, crit 2, crit 3, and crit 4, which is graded. Uh, it will hold 15% of your total progressive mark. And every of these crit 1, 2, 3, 4, there will be 3 panel attending it, which including your studio master, including your academic panels and the architect panel. So we will be, each and every one of you will be giving 15 minutes to present on your scheme, and another 15 minutes for us, a Q&A section for us to ask about further explanation on certain things. Okay, so this grade 1 to 4 is an important date. I would say is an important date, and this date will be given to you later in our time schedule. So the date and time schedule, so you are well aware of it. Okay, and then there will be a manuscript where we'll be writing, where there will be two uh, draft submission before the final submission. Okay, that you need to be writing a manuscript writing regarding your buildings or a topic regarding social culture, urbanism, or uh, sustainable technologies. Okay, we will give you a manuscript writing intellectual later, so there will be some guide for you on how you should start on that. Subsequently, the very first task that you're gonna enter later that I'm gonna share with all of you will be on the stamina. That there will be a 10% for social cultures and sustainable technology. Okay, you are given 4 weeks to complete this stamina. It is a group work where you could have this interaction with one another within your work base, and subsequently present it at the very first crit, the crit one. Okay, the stamina should be there to lay down a lot of background study on what you could utilize it for your individual project. So it's not a waste of energy, you know. It is data collections, a primary data collection or secondary data collections, where it establishes all the issues that you should be looking at for your coming individual works. And we have this GST event is where you Dr. PC mentioned about 5 GST forms that you should be looking at it as well. That there is a 5 marks. 5 marks is a lot, okay? It is equivalent to 1 grade. And because the passing mark is B minus, it actually requires is a very high standard. Okay, so please, this 5 marks is not easy. It's not difficult to achieve. Please make sure you grasp the full marks of it. Okay, and then we have final thesis assessment, which is 60%. Okay, and then if you pass, great. If you fail, that is a procedure to it. We will assess with your work, the standards of your work. You know, is it a passable scheme or not? Okay. Sometimes, if not, it's really not possible, then we do need to fail you. Okay. Subsequently, after that, we will have the portfolio review. Then it will be the end of semester. Okay. Okay, this is for urbanism 72 credit program. It's slightly different. The progressive marks is about the same, 50%. The manuscript writing is about the same. But the seminar for urbanism is 20 marks. The reason behind is that we understand that urban study is a big chunk, you know, a lot of work that need to be done. So we increase the percentage within the seminars. Okay, and on top of that, there is one action plan and master plan required from the student as well. That they after their study, okay, they will need to propose a master plan, a brief master plan, a subsequent with the action plans, okay, and what we call a mini master plan within their individual project. Okay, that will be giving another 10 marks as well. and same the GST form, and then the final thesis assessment will be on 40%. Okay, so it's slightly lower, but it's lower not because of it's not important. It's because they have to put quite a lot of energy at studying, prepare on the urban study. Okay, subsequent will be on the thesis. So the thesis is very straightforward. They still have the grade 1 to grade 4. And then subsequently, that will hold 30%. And for final thesis assessment, 65%. And the GST is 5%. Okay. Okay, so our classes teaching methods, most of the time it will be on physical. Some lecture input. I try to arrange physicals, but sometimes there might be last minute changes uh, uh, like the architect we invited or the outsider we invited they couldn't make it, so they might do it online. So those are the modes, Webex that we'll be utilizing to conduct lecture input. And the create sessions will 100% be face to face, where and the portfolio as well as the final thesis assessment. So the modes that we might be utilizing to conduct the lecture input could be on the Webex or the Google Meet, or even the big blue buttons that we have within e-learning, and others folders or platform that we might use. Like just now we use my role. Sometimes when I wanted to conduct some brainstorming sessions, I might be using Miro to face to face, so that all of you can put your thoughts, within one platforms, and everyone could see it straight away. And I will be utilizing a lot of UTM e-learning as well, like submission for the manuscript submission. This will be the platform where you will submit your draft. Okay, and that will be a Google Drive. If UTM e-learnings, because sometimes UTM e-learning do need to take 1 or 2 weeks, before it becomes stabilized. So before that, prior to that, we could be using Google Drive to share any documents and things like that. Okay, so these are the supervisor logbook, the GST form. You will have to submit 5 GST forms, which is equivalent to 5 marks from between week 1 to week 18. We will be specifying the submission of this GST form within the CI as well. CI is cost information, is what are we gonna, how is the studio is gonna run for the community. So, okay, from Monday to Friday, we take it like a practice studio where you have a session with your supervisor, your professional architect, and the Saturday and Sunday, you will have the student will be with us, the studio master or the lecturer. Okay. So these are the example of the studio operation. So the week ones, you could be your studio master or academic panel or lecturers. Then subsequently, we will have one print one, where the three panel comes together. So in total, we have 4 of it. Okay. The fifth one, we will depend whether we will need it or not. Okay. If not, then maybe it's just a table creep. Then and then at the last, we might have the external architect um, uh, to come and assess together with us during the FTA. And the portfolio, where we will bring in all the Cardano lecturers to view your works on the last weekend, more of like to see what could be the coming uh, quality improvement that we could have. But generally, this is how the studios operations for uh, Precision. Up until now, any question? Clear? Good. Some thumbs up. Okay. Okay, these are the student learning outcomes. You could later I will circulate a copy of the course information to all of you. Different studio have different learning outcome. You could look into it. What is our expectations of you throughout the studio? And these are the student learning time, like explaining the time that we could have with you and together with the the self-directed learning. Okay, the pre-thesis progress grade, I think PC mentioned about this as well, that B minus is actually the minimum pass for all of you. So yeah, this is one of the things we would like to highlight to all of you. Like unlike your degree time, that your passable grade could be C, master we are looking into B minus. So all of you could really need to look into that and get yourself prepared for this. So this is the LAM2 Lembaga Architect Malaysia Part 2 graduate attribute. So you must be independently with understanding on social, cultural, and economic context theory as well as urbanism. You have the tool to deliver those architectural related products or outcomes, and you could support team in team and able to coordinate and work in interdisciplinary team and aware of the material and cost implications, as well as able to engage in criticism, study, and analysis to develop and improve the design. Okay, so like I mentioned, they're gonna be quick sessions, uh, 1 to 5 sessions, okay, and the lecture input together with some workshops that we are looking at. Okay, the release schedules, I think I will share with you later at the CI course information. The design metrics, okay, these are the design metrics you should be looking at. Like what is the do and don't all of you have when you are working on your project. For instance, urbanism, we do not specifically select a site for you. We do need you to go to your site, visit it, and then select a site. So when you are selecting a site, you have to look into the site criteria. You know, it has to be urban context infill, and it has to be minimum 2x. So these are the design metrics which is set by UTM, and we are practicing this within our Udana School as well. So you should be looking into it. And of course, there are case by case basis. Like sometimes you are exploring different things. You could sit down to look into it, but technically, these are the basic minimum requirements that we need to fulfill. Okay. So these are the other things like in terms of research, what are the things we are looking at? In terms of our technical environmental, what are things we are looking at the cultural context. Of course, when you are working slightly more on the environmental, you're gonna, in a step ways, you're gonna focus a lot more on environment. But we do not want you to neglect the other part as well. You still need to look into how to link with the urban context. You still need to look into how to address some cultural context as well. Minimum, but yeah, we do require that. And these are the communications, like what are the things we require you here, okay? And the management practice and law, like how do you respond to the bylaw, fire requirements, uh, etc. Uh, regulations that related to your typologies and uh, to your building solution. Okay, so I think the Google site, Dr. Ling has already shared this. This is where you could get a bit more information. Like I understand that some of you might graduate, for more than 5 to 10 years. Okay, so this is the first time you are coming back to the school. And after a long break, you find yourself uh, your brain get blank, when you want to start doing things. Because we are having this. So when you go to the Google link, you can go to the exhibition. That's where you could grab a lot of sample of work, uh, yeah, mainstream and offshore student works, and then you can start looking at it. I encourage, all of you to start doing it by today, tomorrow, to grab a bit of idea so that you do not get any culture shocks uh, when we are looking to your work and say that this is not what we want, this is not what the master level is. So you before that, you have a look at that and at least you know what is the benchmark. Okay? With that, we will end the briefing here just for the pre-thesis and the thesis. Okay, could I will just ask, any one of you have any issue that you would like to ask, or you have any question? Or everything is good? Those that raise hand, you can put down your hand too. Okay. Okay, good. No questions? Everyone clear? You can turn on your mic and answer, choose. Good? Everything good?
Hello, can you listen?
Yep, I can.
Okay. Regarding about the site, do we need to choose the site ourselves or it will be given? We need to choose ourselves.
Yeah, wait. I will brief this in detail in a while. Okay? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, having a mouth flu here. Yeah. Okay. I will be briefing on the CI cost information and as well as the uh for urban, for uh, and for social culture. Let me just check with Dr. PC.
Yes, okay, the Chan.
Yeah. For the
We should.
enviro, I will leave the enviro cost information and the brief detail to you, but they will be joining the site study as well. So
Ah,
maybe I will go through that route, and then after that, I answer them only and pass it back to you.
yeah, sure. Maybe later on I will share the Webex link,
Yeah.
personal one. So ask them to join in later lah. But after you have present the site.
Mm. But today I also have one info lecture, actually
Ah,
two.
I see, I see. Okay, sure.
Mm. Okay, so I will okay to answer the question from Naziro, right, regarding the site, we have actually decided exactly on where we want the site to be. Okay, but we do not specify exactly which site that you're going to utilize. Okay, it's from your urban study that you're going to select a site. So without any delay, let me go into the course information. Okay, okay, these are the cost information. Let me get my file first. Okay, so the course information, the first one that we are going to go through is social culture, MBS 1019. It will be the two course lecturers, me and Dr. Lin Pao Chung. You see? Okay, this one I already briefly go through with. So, okay, this generally for urbanism and social culture, this week will be the registration of subject where we will start our official briefings, okay, and then I will brief you on your project task 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. And subsequently, the next week, 14 and 15, we will be getting all of you to site. But actually, we do hope that today's is next week, next Saturday, that we will be going to the site. And at this site, the Perdana student will be at the site as well doing their site study. Okay, so because in urbanism, in social cultures, we have about 16 students. Okay, so what we wanted all of you to do is actually um, all of you will be joining in this urban study together with the urban students. Okay, that you're gonna prepare an urban study regarding all of it. Uh, but for the social culture student, you will be focusing on particular one chapter where is on the socials part of the study site. Okay, so so on the 14th and 15th, we will be having discussion with Perdana student. We will meet up with Perdana student. When I'm gonna meet with Perdana student tomorrow, I will probably get them to contact one of you, and I do need all of the student, each work base, like the environment, urban, as well as the suspect. Please discuss among yourself who would be the leader. We need one leader among all of you, so that I will get the Perdana workplace student leader to contact the leader and then arrange whatever necessary. Okay, so after this, please discuss among yourself who would be the leaders, and then you could inform me as well as put it into the Miro. Okay, so that this is the point to point contact. Okay, so and wherever I need some update, I will check with the leader as well. Okay, so subsequently on the lecture 14 and 15, you will be meeting me and Dr. Sharifa at site, as well as a studio where we'll be arranging some lecture input 2 and 3 for the student. Okay, there will be a mix of input lectures. While some input lectures is slightly more toward the urbanism, slightly giving the urbanism students slightly more input. Another side of it, there will be lecture input that focusing on housing and cultures that particularly dedicated it to the social culture students. Okay, but nevertheless, all of you will be working on this site inventory, survey, data collection, and observation and site study in groups. And then you will be uh, doing the site analysis and synthesis as a group work together with the Perdana student. Okay, and then you are gonna have these. Then you're gonna finalize the proposed site for individual works. Okay, together discuss, which are the sites that is much more appropriate for you to work on the particular issues or particular problems you are looking at. So this will be on the 14th and 15th agenda. Subsequently, the next following weekend, you will need to be doing the site analysis and the synthesis in group work, and then select one topic from the scenarios, um, identifying either the issue within the architectural design for social culture, okay, and then you have to start looking at who would be the clients that you are looking at and what kind of objective. This will be an individual work study, which means that individually you will start to looking at actually what from the site study, urban study, you might figure out that there are a lot of social culture issues. Okay, but you could not, as I always tell my students, we are not God. We cannot be solving all the issues. So which particular issue you wanted to tackle? Okay, that will be you need to start to do a bit of your own self research on which topic interests you and you would like to look into in details on that. Okay, so these are your tasks, individual and group work, and then Dr. Sharifa will be there to look into your group work as well as your individual works. Like you started to have some ideas on what you wanted to propose on that particular site. Okay, then we will have the subsequent week will be on the subject week, and we will have the lecture input again. Uh, and you're going to prepare for the presentation. Okay, and then you're going to the first grade will be on the 5th of November, where you will submit your GST form, as well as you're going to present on the project task 1 seminar presentations. And then on 11 and 12, we're going to have one public holiday, Deepawali, but it is not really a holiday for you. You need to submit to us the first draft of the manuscript. Okay, so subsequently within this time, 2 week before, 2 week gap before, you started to think about all these submissions, and you could uh, discuss with your studio master or the academic panel while we are having our face-to-face class. Then followed by a subject week, and then subsequently we will have the another quick session and a lecture input that I have invited another architect to talk about housing development planning. And then you started after the first break, you need to move progressively, aggressively into your individual work. Okay, because try not to dim. If you could bring things early, if you could do things early, please try to do as soon as possible. For instance, like you finish your group work, you don't really need to wait until you finish your quick one to start on your individual work. Concurrently, you should be working on your individual works as well. The reason being is that we do not, with Precisil, I always see that we do not have that much of time. We do not have that much of time to waste in a way. So you really need to plan your time. We look into all these, once I uh, circulate all this information, you started to look into it. You know how you work. Okay, are you a fast worker, or are you, during the design stage you take times, or during the thinking stage you take a lot of time, but you can work very fast at the end product, or subsequently, or vice versa. Then you plan your times accordingly. I think the key to success in Persistil is about time management. If you plan now and started to understand what is coming in front of you and start to prepare for it, I think you already win half of the battle. Okay. But if you just look at the brief next week and realize that, oh, I have a submission next week. Okay. And you start working this week. That's the times that you get panic and things and everything's, messed up. So please, at week 0, when we are going to give you this time now, put everything down in your calendar, and you know yourself best, how much time you need to work on those things, and when is the time that you should start looking at it. Okay. Then the subsequent the project 2, and after quick 1, quick 2 will be a bit more toward um, understanding the issue, the problems, and the building typology that you're going to propose. Okay. For social culture, you will be working on housing project, high-rise housing project. The typology is fixed. Okay, but the issue and problems could be different. Some of you could be looking into healthy living. Some of you could be looking into um, a melting pot where a place is suitable for any type of people to live together. Some of you may be looking into how to improve the quality of the space. Okay, so every one of you could have totally different directions. But for social culture students, you will be working solely on housing typology, housing high-rise typology. Okay, so at Crit 2, we are looking into that. You started to have the brief formulation. You started to know who is your targeted group, who are the person you are designing for, who is the client, how you derive the issues. So those things started to come in. And Crit 2, we're gonna have all the panel looking into the research focus, concept generation, the concept exploration, the resolution tools, sketches. Now you have to firm out everything to here at this point, Crit 2. And hopefully at Crit 2, there isn't a lot of changes. There wouldn't be a major changes. Then after that, you just have to refine slightly, and then you can move straight away to your design. Okay. The thing is that some people, they do find that okay, Crit 2 doesn't require design, so they do not look into it. Do not think that is a very important task. But actually, Crit 2 itself is very important for urbanism students, environment, and social culture. Is a very important section. where if you do not formulate your design brief clearly, uh, or formulate it in a way, structurally design this, subsequently you're going to face a lot of issue at your crit 3 and crit 4, because crit 3, our expectation is looking into your building design. Okay, we do not want to look at your concept, your um, uh, brief formulation anymore at crit 3. Okay, but because you didn't do a very good job at crit 2, we are forced to give you directions or commands regarding your brief, regarding your concept at crit 3. Subsequently, you're going to face a lot of issues to finalize all your design. So please, every crit is a very important. Uh, don't think that this doesn't require it just words, just idea, so it's not. And actually crit 2 itself is very important in order for you to develop your scheme successfully throughout the semester. So like what I mentioned, after the crit 2, okay, there will be another round of crit section, the paper crit. And in this semester, we are introducing a new thing that we call a draft submissions. Okay, we have realized that in the past semester, the students, they tend to push everything at the back. Like a week before the submission, they only started to do their board arrangements, which resulted a very, very poor presentation. When you have a very poor presentations during the FTA, the final thesis assessment, your panel couldn't understand or couldn't comprehend what actually you are trying to do. And subsequently, they couldn't understand how you develop the scheme. And most of them, they obtain a lower grade, or some even fail. So in order to assist all of you in overcoming this issue, we have actually set in a submission for a draft argument board, where after your crit 2, you will started to refine your thing. Okay, you started to refine whatever commands given, massage the concept things, and then you started to put into the first draft argument board, A0 board or A1, the board, and then you're going to submit it for your studio master commands on it, like how you should do it, what are the things you should enhance, so that when you present your idea, your your panel, your assessment panel, they could easily comprehend the idea behind without wasting time. So so this is a new thing for all the students. Okay. So and then subsequently, we're gonna have the design and buildings links, the design objective. Okay. And then we have the crit 3, where crit 3, we are looking into a schematic drawing. You might be having plans, you might be having building form, like how you want to um, uh, address the issue, what are the things, that these are the social cultural issue you are looking at, and then how you're gonna, uh, what are the design solution you are looking into in taking care of all these issue that you wanted to solve. So trick 3, we are looking into slightly more into design and a drawing. Okay, so at Quick 3, you should have the sketch plan, elevations, building forms, uh, draft 3D, telling us how the building form is. So these are what we are looking at Quick 3. And subsequently, we have a subject week, and where you will submit your second draft of manuscript as well. And on the week 12, there will be architect panel week, where the assigned architect will be looking into your drawing. So to create you on the regulations, law, building services, very technical things. So just imagine if you have not started your quick trade with some basic design, with the schematic design, what do you have to create with the architect and the child? you know. So please, those each and every deadline we are looking at it is very important. So try to do your very best at each and every quick sections. Okay. Subsequently, we will have the preparation for pre-thesis grade 4, And pre-thesis prep 4 will be a finalization of schematic drawing and argument of design. Okay, that might be still a little adjustment on your argument is fine, so long as it's not big changes. And then we will have the coming week 14. We will looking at having a submission for a second draft of argument board and the submission of first draft board submission, where you will started to arrange your box, where exactly you want to put the plan, where exactly you want to put the sections, the perspective. So you are aware, what are things you need. We have students coming to the FPA and we ask, where is this drawing? You say, oh, is this drawing needed? So we wanted to mitigate, we wanted to reduce all these problems. So we wanted all of you to um, we set up all these draft submission so that we can assist all of you before the FPA. Okay, and then subsequently the next week, so it will be final review. So we will be looking into your draft argument board and draft board submission, giving you necessary advice and comment. And subsequent, after week 15, you have some adjustments. 16, then you will be a final thesis submissions. Okay, we will announce the date and time. Okay, and and uh, during the FPA is where you will submit your GST form number 5 too. And then the next thing, it will be the final presentation. Okay, and the following week will be on the portfolio. Okay, uh, it is actually going to be the same weekly schedule for the social culture, urbanism, as well as environment. The task will be different. The task will be more or less the same. It's just that in terms of the input lectures, the lecture input, it might be some of it we do not require the social culture student to sit in, but we do encourage, it's no harms, right? So all of you could sit in one another's input lecture to get necessary input lecture for that particular classes as well. Okay. So any questions from up until now? I'm sure that all of you uh you have will be having quite a lot of question marks in your mind. No? All of you are still good? Yep, all of you still good? Getting excited? Still feeling excited? Or am I just talking to myself? Naziro, you do have question to ask, or you are feeling good?
Good.
Good. Okay, so after you see all of this, and this is just kacang, nothing for us. Okay, we can do super good. If that is your thoughts behind your mind, that will be really, really good. Okay. Okay, so I will just go to the design brief for social culture. I will be sharing this with all of you later too. So we are looking into so for for social cultures, we are looking into urban living, responsive toward design toward the contemporary lifestyles. Okay, so these are the brief where you could look into it. That we have spelled out, like what are the main things that you could be looking at. They're gonna be next week. I'm gonna be giving the first lecture input on the housings and culture. So I will be explaining slightly more on that. Okay. I think of you wanted to know a bit more on the task. So I will be our site. Okay, our site will be actually at Chowkit and Kampung Baru. Okay, that will be our site. The reasons I'm choosing this is because during the urban study, it will be a combined effort between the urbanism and the social culture student, as well as the urbanism studio from Perdana. Okay, but the social culture student, you are not required to do the master plan or the action plans. The three Persisio students, you will be joining effort with the Perdana student to work on the master plan. Okay, So, but the urban study, we will conduct it all together. So this will be the site, Chalkit Kampung Baru. Okay, these are some write-ups regarding Chalkit. Okay, so for urbanism student, actually it's quite clear. So, you have to do urban research or studies on the Chalkit and Kampung Baru. So what about social cultures? Or what is your scope or what is your role within this urban design? Okay, so these are the things that I have outlined here. So gonna be uh, you are gonna be part of this urban study, but this social culture group will be focusing mainly on the social cultures issue within the site. Okay, so the framework is that you have to look into the social issue in the urban area within Chalkit and Kampung Baru, the social cultural aspect of the area. Okay, understanding the cultural trail, or mainly okay, okay. And the task number one, you have to identify an urban cultural group. Okay, a cultural group that is coherent populations of individual agents that share a common culture. Okay, specific ethnic and religion should not be selection. So what you needed to do that is that you, for the social culture student, you will go to the site together with the urbanism student. But what you need to do is you need to start it through your questions A or interview. You have to identify what are these urban cultural groups within that context. Cool. So, for whoever from the urbanism studio, okay, you do not have to work on the questionnaire and the survey later because it will be taken care by the social culture student. Okay. So when you are presenting on the seminar, the urban studio will first present on the history, on the topographies, or on the networks, okay, etc. And then there will be what specific subgroup, subsection is on this cultural group where it will be presented by the social culture student. Okay, so what you needed to do is that you needed to, through the methods of questionnaire or interview, a semi-structured interview, uh, design the questionnaire interview, and then when the rest of the urban student they be on site to work on the urban inventory, you will be focusing on conducting questionnaire and interview question to get primary data on all these related methods. Okay, so you need to understand that who are the people that the demographic, actually generally saying the task 1A is understanding the demographic between Kampung Baru and Chalkit. Who are the people living there? What they do, what do they need? What are they lacking now? If I have to propose a housing, residential housing within this project, what are the things that we should be looking at fixing it, improving it for this group of demographic people, okay? For these groups of people. So these are the overall ideas we need to have, okay? Uh, yeah, and then you have to identify the communal spaces and needs of group peoples, okay? And then you have to do some literature search on the communal and cultural needs for the respective group of people. Who are they? What do they need? And you cannot be just thinking, no, everything that you state, everything that you explain, remember, you need a proper citation, you need a proper resources. Like you say that I think they are all poor people. You say, I'm gonna ask you, how do you define they are poor? Who gave you the data to say that they are poor people? Okay, you might need to show me the town planning or the structure plan or the local plans for DBKL stating that around childcare, 60% of the peoples are B40. Okay, with that statement, it it supports your statement saying that there are a lot of poor people. Okay, so everything that you are going to present during the seminar, it cannot come from just your brain or just your knowledge. It has to come from proper resources. It has to come from proper citations. People has done the research and it's proven. And then you can utilize all this information for you to formulate your information. So remember that. So literature review is very crucial because it's through literature review you know that uh, it's no longer a hypothesis. It is a proven fact, and you can use it for whatever project for your project or to explain some situations. Okay, and then subsequently you do have another task where you need to explore the design of the housing unit, individual, one building per each group member. So each group member, you must evaluate the existing housing unit design solutions within that site. Okay. Okay, what are the existing housing being provided within the site? What are the concepts they are having? What are the ideas of the planning design or constraint they are having? And subsequently, you need to propose what are the things you need to improve. Okay, what are the things that you need to look into in order to provide a better? This part of it is a very uh, a good research for all of you in order for you to sort of like jumpstart um, your individual brief formulations. Okay, from here, a lot of people actually they started to adopt whatever things they have researched and started to formulate their brief. Maybe currently the way you are looking at the housing provided is really poor ventilation, is really poor lighting, and it doesn't um, uh, encourage social interaction. So how are you gonna bring all these things into your brief? Okay, and subsequently propose a design solution for it. So these are generally all the tasks required from the social culture groups. And remember, this part of it is going to be one of the subsection within the urban study. Okay, so when you are presenting your seminar, technically saying that all of us will be in one hall and all of you will be presenting, but these particular sections will be presented by the social culture groups. And because there are a lot of you within that, so remember the research has to be in depth. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, you have to look into the concept to be considered, diverse communal building typology, the affordability, the flexible design, and the user participation. Okay, and to propose solution with proper research backgrounds. So you have to say that. So maybe uh, all of you did one evaluations on the existing housing unit. Subsequently, another person they will be looking into all this and then summarize what are the common issues we are having at the housing now. And then based on that, we have the proper research to find out what are the current existing solutions being proposed to tackle all these issues. Okay, so you could summarize it in such a way too. Okay, but we could discuss in details like how you want to work on it. Okay, then you have to present the work, okay, recordings and concluding data from task 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. The format works will be A1 Bob and being part of the urban study, like I mentioned. And the format will be on PowerPoint slide and PDF. Okay, and there will be a prepared verbal presentation for that. So maybe for the urban study, they're gonna present 1 hour. Okay, there's a lot of things, 1 to 1.5 hours. For your group, you could be presenting on that part for 1 hour too. The way I look at it, when all of you sit down together to discuss, I believe that the topic that related to social culture can be handled by social culture group as well. For instance, history, uh, um, the, the transition period, history and everything actually relate to social culture as well. So maybe the history part you can park under the social culture group, and then they could present on this part, and as well as the group work on whatever thing that is being spelled out here. Okay, so after that, the task 2, it will be um, same with the rest of the people, that you're gonna develop a design idea based on the study cultural group. Okay, then you are required to design a high-rise residential of diversifying functions, catering for the selected cultural group or an urban site. Okay, so you're gonna base on whatever data you have obtained from your task 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D, and then you're gonna propose a new typology of residential housing for your project. So these are the site, and then these are the manuscript writing that require. For this part, we will brief on you later in detail, give you Dr. Sharifa will talk about the manuscript writing to give you a bit more idea. Okay, and then the GST. So the weekly schedule, you will have to refer to the CI, and these are the grading. Okay, sorry. So yeah, the first grade is actually 10, 10, and then the final thesis assessment is 65. Some typo here, I will amend it and then I will pass it to you later. Okay, so these are the compulsory reading and the rest of it. Okay, any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. And now we are going to the urbans. Okay, for urbanism studio, okay, the weekly schedules is about the same, like the social culture. The difference is that there will be input lectures that is mainly for urbanism. They are actually some of the lecture inputs is shared among three theses. Some of this is solely for one of the studio. Okay, like for lecture input 3, if you could see that lecture input 3 will be on urban design framework, we will get the urbanism students sit in, while like I mentioned around here, the lecture input 3, it will be by me on the housing and culture. So it could be happening at the same times or one after another. Maybe all of you will be joining it. Okay, so it's still about the same, but what difference for urbanism student is that you need to work on the urban master plan, and you have to propose the action plans for your site as well, which means your job do not stop at just urban inventory, urban analysis, and urban synthesis. Social culture properly start at urban synthesis, but subsequently, urban studio, you have to move one step further, is that you have to start on the proposed design stage. But understand that because we only have 3 students, we will join hand together with the banana to work on this. Okay. So the preparation is the same. Okay, and then there will be GST, Crit 1. Manuscript submission will be the same for everyone. And the draft argument board submission is the same for everyone. Okay, and the draft manuscript submission. So all the submission date is being spelled out clearly on the CI. Please refer it, and then as what I mentioned earlier, okay, start your planning today. Okay, now I will go into the urban design brief now. Okay, okay, urban design brief. Okay, we are looking into your brief for urban urban students, your brief is exactly the same with Pradana students. Okay, so this is why I'm going to brief them tomorrow after their first meeting with it. So for urbanism student, we are looking at Chalkit and Kampung Baru. Uh, maybe I show you all the map first. Okay, Kampung Baru and Chalkit. This is Chalkit, if you are aware, and this is Kampung Baru, uh, part of it. Okay, so we are looking at this. This is actually a predetermined boundary where I give to all my students, but doesn't mean that it's the finalized boundary. Because subsequently, when you go to the site, some of you might be telling me that I do not want to include this part, okay, with your justifications, we can exclude it. Or maybe you mentioned that you wanted to include this part with whatever reason that you have, and I think is actually a good justification, then yes, you can include another part. But subsequently, these are the predetermined boundary line, but yet to be finalized boundary line for all the urbanism group. You could look into up until including some other area within this circle area, but technically saying that these are child kids at company. Okay, the reason why I'm choosing child kids and Kampung Baru is because child kids and Kampung Baru actually holds a very specific character within KL. Okay? When you talk about Kampung Baru straight away, there is a kind of character and image appearing in your mind. And when you talk about child kids, suddenly the images change. Any one of you from KL? Any one of you from KL? Maybe you just type yes at the chat box or no, these two plays well. Let's go. Where are you from, Nasiru? Okay, good.
Rawang.
Okay. So are you familiar with child kids and Kampung Baru?
Yes.
Okay, good. So yeah. So the reason I'm choosing child kid and Kampung Baru is technically because um I'm this is sort of like a hypothesis, but it is not fixed. Okay. To me, I never really fix one thing because I'm hoping that I do not fix the way that you think. I'm looking into having you to challenge my thoughts and sometimes challenge the decision I make. Okay, because we do want a groups of architects could properly be very critical thinking. So the reason I choose child kids and Kampung Baru is because I am thinking the social culture student could be a bit more toward the child kid area, okay, where you could focusing a bit more on the social cultural issue within it. But if any one of you, you find that well, you are having interest or you express your high interest in Kampung Baru nearby around here places to have a commercial high rise, yes, we can look into those possibilities. And while the urbanism students that we're focusing slightly a bit more toward the Kampung Baru, okay, and how to bridge, okay, this transition between Chowkit to Kampung Baru. Okay, those are the hypotheses I'm having when I designing my brief. Okay, and the reason that why we are looking into this is because Dr. Sharifah actually is holding another urban studio where she will be focusing on the street. Okay, and Jalan Raja Muda Abdul Aziz. Yep, focusing on this street. The reason she is focusing on this street is because she has a hypothesis that the Sungai Brunos is one of the river that we could revitalize in order to join Titiwangsa Park up until Kampung Baru. So those are the things that we are hoping the students could explore and look into it while they do their urban science, okay, research and study. So technically these are the area we are looking at. And just now, Naziru asked me, like, how am I gonna fix on my site. So when the urban student they have ready or as a group, all of you has already decided within this site, the social culture group student could look into any empty site within the lot and propose it to be a high-rise residential project. The way I look at it that you could probably just have 3 sites, okay, 3 workable sites, and then share among, which means that student 1, 4, 5, they're going to share on site A, or student 2, 3, 6, they're going to share on site B, and subsequent. That could be the way that you look at it. So you could probably identify 3 possible sites, and then you can choose among the students of this particular part. Okay. Okay. So let me then come back to here. So for Child Kids and Kampung Baru, a modern metropolis, Child Kids, and a culturally significant neighbor, Kampung Baru, we are looking at, for urbanism studio, we are looking into resilient city, how you could prepare this area that they could bridge, or they could brace through the shocks and the stresses among the city. You know, how that we could design it to be a resilient city uh, within these 2 significant neighborhoods. Okay, so the ideas behind that is like what I have mentioned earlier, is how we wanted to redefine Chowkit and Kampong Baru in its relationships. Okay, okay. And the very first task that the urban student gonna have is that they're gonna look into the urban study and the urban intervention, where they're gonna explore the history of the study areas. Okay, because history is also part of social culture. Maybe the student during your discussion about one another, you could put these under the social culture group too, because there are quite a big group within social culture, like 16 of you, maybe 4 from maybe 2. I'm thinking that you could have 2 students, like for instance examples, 2 students from my studio and 2 students from Dr. PC studio, that you can work on this. So when you started to work on your individual groups, if your friend have any your friend has any questions, they can go and refer to you. You become sort of like the information filter within your studio. Okay, then you identify all the component of the study stream, and record the different component of the study area, and then identify the issues within the contribute of the development of the study stream, and to suggest an intervention that can improve the study area. So these are the urban study and urban interventions. Okay. And then subsequently, you're going to have the individual building design. Yeah, 15 marks on the progressive mark, 45 on the FTA, and another 10 marks on the master plan. Okay. By the time you reach your quick one, urban student, you need to have the urban schematic urban uh, master plan, schematic master plan, sketch master plan. But by the time during your FTA, the master plan has to be finalized and improved from what the comment has given you during your quick one. So during the individual building design, the student will need to, for the urban student, they need to propose a typology. For urban student, you do not have a fixed typology. Okay. But what we are looking at, it should be a public building serving the community. Okay. And it could be a GST project too. No, It's, uh, it could be a non-profit organization project too. Okay. Certain needs people and you are designing for it possible too. But the issues need to be derived from the site. Okay. A lot of students, after they've gone through the urban study, urban research, they formulate all the issues, and then suddenly, when they're moving into their individual project, they suddenly decide that, they're going to adopt a different issues apart from what they have at the seminar. So that is a big no-no. Please remember that you should always refer back to your master plan, and that is where you take abstract, or that is where you get the issues, okay, for your individual project. And subsequently, there will be the manuscript journal, 5%. Okay, these are the proposed topic you could look at. As mentioned, we will give a little lecture on the manuscripts. Okay, and these are all the submissions requirement methods. So for the studio operation, task 1, the seminars and urban study, the sketch master plan. Yep, you do need an urban study and you do need a sketch master plan within that 4 weeks. So the group work is that the grid 1, the student will go to the site study, site visit, and fact finding will be in groups, and the student need to organize the distribution of tasks among each group and the methods of assessment. Okay, how are you going to do that? And also the among the social culture group, you have to provide questionnaire. Do you want to do observation? You can actually do observation study as well, like how people react at certain spaces and why do they react in such a way. So those are the things that you could look into. And space syntax method. Space syntax, Dr. Sharifah is a space syntax expertise. So she will be explaining a bit more next week during our site on space syntax and the urban study for connectivity analysis. And then the urban inventory, the expectation is that there will be an urban inventory that you can give us the visual observation, the semi-structured interview, the photographic documentation, the sketches and document, and the rest of the archive uh, search materials. Okay, and then urban inventory that is the analysis of data gained. Okay, sorry, this is inventory, this is analysis. So urban analysis, after you get all the information, you do need to start to analyze it. Okay, for instance, what is the difference between inventory and analysis? Inventory, you are just getting facts. For instance, this man is 100 kg. That is inventory. It's just telling you his weight is 100 kg. The analysis part is that you started to think 100 kg, is it good or bad? It's very bad for the health and things. So this is considered um, severely obese. So he started to analyze these situations. Okay, this is not good. Okay, and this is analysis, and this will cause a lot of health issue to him. Okay, this is analysis. And then you will have synthesis. Synthesis is that what you need to do with it. What you need to do with this. So you know that it's bad, it's going to cause a lot of health issue. The synthesis could be he need to he need to on diet. He need to reduce at least 30% of his weight, become 70 kg. Okay, these are synthesis, what you need to do. And the action plan is that how he need to start to on diet. That's the action plan. You know, he has to do this in order to start the action plan. So these are for urban, this sequence is very, very important. Inventory, analysis, and then synthesis. From the synthesis, you come up with all the decision you wanted to make, which area you need to do the do and don'ts within it, and then you put all the do and don'ts into your urban master plans. Okay, and because sometimes students they get a bit confused, like what is when they give us inventory, we say, hey, you do not have analysis. They say, I thought we given you everything that we have already. So this is the sequence that you have to get yourself clear while working on your master plan. Okay, so the site choosing, you could study 1 or 2 sites or 3 sites within the selected urban area for individual project, and the group will be subdivided according to the site chosen by each student. Okay, so the site study will be done in a group of 2 or 3 students. Yeah. So for the urban student, your deliverables will be on the report, urban study and master plan, presentations and drawing, urban study and master plan, and the sketch proposal or urban intervention, urban synthesis. Okay, so yep. So the requirement will be in A1 or A0 board, and then there will be a A3 technical report buy together. So you have to give us a report and a presentation drawing. And then by the quick one, all of you need to have your proposed site selections already. So we are clear that you are ready to move on to your individual quick. Okay. Okay. Okay, then task 2 will be on the individual design schemes where you will gonna go through exactly like what I mentioned to you. The quick 2, 3, the 3, 4, quick 2, 3, 4 will be on your individual works. Okay, where you started to look into it. Okay. Okay. Deliverables. Okay. Will be about the same. Okay. Any questions? If no question, can we have 5-minute break? Then we come back again, and then I will give my first input lecture. Is that possible?
Architect
Good.
Chan,
Yeah.
just wondering after this, shall we separate into thesis and pre-thesis, or is there anything that the thesis student
Uh,
to listen?
no, the thesis student, no.
Okay.
The pre-thesis enviro, yes.
All right, sure. So pre-thesis enviro, urban and SOCAD student, please stay. And
Yeah.
for thesis student, I think I will open another room now for them to
Can.
proceed with the
Yeah.
briefing. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Dr. PC,
Yes, Architect Chan.
after that, you will mix your enviro student.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, sure. So maybe
Yeah.
you just let us know lah, because I'm going to use the Webex link as well. I will leave the room first.
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we will have a 5-minute break, then we will come back. Okay. Yeah. do you mean by the study plan? Is it like what subject you need to register? Uh, Regarding the course information in the studio group, I will be uploading it to this Google Drive later for all of you. Once the e-learning is stable, I will be utilizing the e-learning platform too. So subsequently, you could the lecture input, related materials, okay, will be uploaded to the e-learning. But I will before we all of you, I think some of you do not have the student ID yet, so you do not have the access to the e-learning. So I will be putting it at this Google Drive, so all of you could access it. Okay. So Dr. PC, I will continue. You could get the PC students in the on today, input lectures will a bit introductions on the urban design, okay, and then subsequently we will move into the research analysis and the analysis tool uh, that all of you will be using it in your site study at this stage. Okay, so when we talk about although you might be in your social cultures, but because once your site is within the urban context, actually you cannot run away from urban design. Okay, because um, it is the part of the city. You know, your building is gonna be part of the city. Okay, we still hope that you could look into your building from the perspective of the uh, of the urban design. How do you want to link the things together? How do you want to make sure that your building just doesn't stand alone on itself? Okay, so urban design is actually a multidisciplinary study. The first term urban design is being used is back in 1956 at the Harvard Conference, where people started to realize that the scope of architecture, planning, and landscape, that there should be something uh, bigger than that. The architecturals, the planning, the landscape architecturals. So urban design in one way is very ambitious. Okay. And that's the reason as well. My background is in architecture up until degree, and then I actually furthered my master. That is because I feel that when we are designing within buildings, we are often too focused on the building element. At times, we really forgetting about the build, the relationship between building to building. Okay, and that caused a lot of issue within our urban environment. Like even it's really near, but you couldn't walk to the site. Even it's just next to one another, but you do not able to you do not able to uh, uh, get access it easily. Okay, so urban design in a way is like the architectures of the city where it's shaping the public layout. Okay, become critical, and the building not viewed as isolated but rather a right example. So it's part of it. Okay, and I always find it's very difficult to get architecture students to really look into urban design uh, strictly because as an architect, we have our very strong ego. We wanted to make sure our building form looks the best. We wanted to, sometimes we design some things. I have students coming to just telling me that because I like it, that terms. I like the design. That's why I tweak here. What about the people? Like even like social culture group as well. Sometimes you come here and say, I want to do this. What's the reason behind? Because I think I like it. So what is the relationship between you like it and the people that is gonna use it? There's gonna be a big gap between it. So without knowing, sometimes as an architect, we tend to design our things with a lot of ego with it, and we dictate how the people should live, rather than understand how they live, and we design some things for them. So that is actually a big gap between it. And as an architect, we should always understand that architectural is meant for people, is designed for people. If you are designing out of this intention, the building somehow will not work in one way or another. So So urban design is a standard of all the design, city design, and it look into the human needs, okay, the quality principle, placemaking, and committing to city life through the enhancements of urbanism. So in similar terms that we look into urban design is actually to provide quality contextual places for people. Okay. For the social culture groups as well, you might be looking into exactly the same thing. The reason that why you wanted to conduct the question A, you wanted to conduct how things how people utilizing things for one another is actually you wanted to provide a quality contextual places for people. Okay, so the birth of urban design is okay, it started at Harvard Conference 1956. Okay, okay, it's where they started to realize that there are something they need to focus in rather than just building, just roads. Okay, if you have to put one terms about urban design is technically how you deal with the spaces between the public spaces and the private spaces. I know it's a transitional places, like the road in front of the side, how it's connect to the next road. Those are urban design in that way. And in 1960, 58, they started to have this movement. It's called City Beautiful Movement, where they started to um, they started to increase or improve the aesthetic of the city. Okay, they started to, if you still know about the Renaissance period, they heavily decorated every part of the building. So they are moving this move into this city beautiful movement. And later is actually being criticized by James Jacobs, that it's actually a bit like the architectural design couch. It's sort of like, what is the issues? What is the benefit when you're decorating the column so much? It looks so beautiful, but it never helps to improve the day-to-day life, activity and living of the community. So those are the things that you should be looking into when we are. No, we do not want you to just look at uh, making it more beautiful, but we actually want it to be more human friendly in that sense that people started to able to use that space effectively. And then we come, I think all of you will not forget these names or will, all of you should know these names, Lee Commercial, okay? And you will not, you should be able to recognize this town planning as well. This is a concept started by these 28 European architects and led by Lee Corbusier, that they wanted to have this principle of modernism they practice this modernism, okay, beyond architecture and into planning. They started to have uh, this kind of uh, very modern planning where they separate totally the working place, the residential places, and the working places. Okay, like these should be all be the residential, and all of these corners should be working. So they separate the groups. And actually, from that itself, is also come with a lot of social issue. Okay, because with a strict functional segregation, the population get very scattered around. Like you have to drive 30 minutes to go to one place, exactly like what we are living our life now. Okay, it's no longer integrated. It's this segregated. It's very segregated city, and then everyone depending on car. You have to drive super. It takes more than 30 minutes to reach one place. Okay, uh, so is that the second group coming in is actually this. Okay. And then subsequently, we started to have this birth of disciplines where we started to look into if you are in doing urbanism, you cannot forget these few books that I'm going to mention. The very first one is The Concise Housecape. So, in one way or another, urban design is about reorganizing, understanding our everyday life, and which depends on the proper functions of a dwelling, a recreation center, a workplace, and a street and a highway that are connecting, and and then we can benefit as a community in that city. So, for urban students, where is my pen? I remember I have pen here. Okay. Uh, not urban student picture. I remember last time you give me a pen so I can here. Okay. Ah, here. Pens for me. Only okay. Just thinking around. Okay. You can see it right, not very clear, but it should be good. Now, okay, that you can see that is functioning of dwelling. This is where the social culture groups will comes in. That you will start to look into the proper functioning of a dwelling. Okay, and subsequently the urban design group, they're gonna look into the recreation center, the workplace, and the street and the highway. So although we are talking about social culture, but you are part of the actually social dwelling social culture is part of the urban design as well. Okay, but for your project, you will be focusing a lot more on the urban culture. Okay, so that's why although you are not doing urban design, I still wanted all of you to sit in and listen because it gives you a bit of background, like why is the urban study important? Why is the urban inventory that you're gonna visit gonna do later is so important for you to lay the foundations. Okay, so we have to understand that the proper functioning of dwellings, okay, is the current Chowkit Kampong Baru has a proper functioning dwelling for the people. You can even compare, like for social culture group, you can even compare how is the Kampong Baru people living and how is the Chowkit people living in terms of mental states? How are their mental states? Is it good or is it bad? So those are the things that give you a lot of data and subsequently expose you to the things that you wanted to explore in future. So the current recreation workplaces and street and highway, they are connecting together and they are benefiting one another in terms of the they are benefiting one another or the community as a whole. So Gordon Cullen actually looking into this urban design as art of relationships. So he has been placing emphasis on the emotional impact that people have in the place, and he believes a lot on the points of views. He thinks that the city should reasonably be designed from the point of view of a moving person, that it could capture a series of relationships as a drama housekeep within that site. So he is looking at someone that walking through the city, how they experience it. Okay, and is that experience is good, bad, and that's the way he addressed that a good urban design. So it will be providing a district housing area, working with the topography or landscape, providing a network of landmark, creating distinct edges and boundary, using natural access to create interest and providing a series of sequentials and closure and climax. Okay, these are he is actually looking into putting an emotional impact that the people have when in this place. And as for social culture students, that is another layer of things you should be looking at. What is the emotional impact? The social cultural group, the urban cultural groups that you are going to looking at, what kind of emotional impact they have toward that place? Is that place considered a sense of identity for them, or more of a transitional places? Okay, like for instance, if I'm personally from Ipoh, Perak. Anyone here from Perak? Ipoh? Yes, no? Anyone of you from Ipoh Perak? Okay, no. Okay. So I'm from Ipoh Perak. So when I moved to Skudai, okay, nice, we have one Perak here. Okay, so when I moved to Skudai to study here, actually Skudai it doesn't give me any sense of belonging. Is a sense it's more of a transition place. I'm just come here for a few years and I'm gonna return. Okay, uh to this place, I don't think that I need to really know this place a lot. I don't feel proud, when someone says someone from Perak win something, oh, my heart will yell, when someone says that, someone from Johor win something, so it doesn't give me a lot of meaning. So when you are looking to this social cultural group, actually you wanted to know what kind of emotional impact this group of people have toward childcare and have toward Kampong Baru. I tell you, it's going to be very huge difference. For people that have the have the have the sense, I'm my hypothesis yet to be proven. Okay, I'm sure that whoever that reside at Kampong Baru, their sense of place is really really high. When you talk about Kampong Baru, they feel proud. When they talk about Kampong Baru, they feel that kind of um uh, that kind of proud within their heart. But when you go to childcare, most probably people over there they don't really care about this. So those are the emotional impact we want to look and how these people actually look at the place they are living now. So those are another things that the social cultural could expose um, further. For instance, the brief that I give you is quite minimal, uh, but it is really subject on how you want to spread it. Because don't forget, you have 16 packs 16 packs of you, you cannot be just giving me the meal. So, uh, you're gonna think about how to ensure each and every one of you do have a part of role, you do have a role within the master plan and what wings that you should go. But don't worry, we will meet and we can discuss further. You give me the structures of what you wanted to do, and then we can discuss further. From there, we see how you could explore further. Okay, so um, for whoever doing urban design, remember that the concise housecape, those are the things that you might wanted to put a little bit more thoughts in knowing it. Okay, the subsequent will be the image of city. If you have done urban within your degree, undergraduate, you probably know Cabin Lynch. Okay, or it's like a very, very popular name, in the urban design discipline. So Calvin Lynch is from MIT, and he published a book on 1960. Yeah, I think he is from MIT, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, then he impact on how designers perceive the city and urban thought. Okay, and he started to have all these path, edges, elements, nodes, landmarks. Um, In a way, we call it, this is a term derived by him, immeasurability, which means that how you perceive that place. For instance, when we talk about Paris, what are the few things that come in your mind? The landmark, right? The landmark of Paris come in your mind. Okay, when we talk about KLCC, or we talk about KL, the landmark come in your mind. So if you know a bit more, okay, the landmark first come in your mind, KLCC, and then maybe you started to know a bit of the path surrounding it. Uh, you started to know where is the edge of it, the district of it. Okay, so that is how the designer imagine or perceive a city to be. And we use this as a mental image of the environment, okay, as a mental image as being highlighted by Lynch. It shapes color arrangement which facilitated the makings of the powerful structure, highly useful mental image of the environment. Okay, uh, so whenever we work on the urban design, we always ask the student to identify the path, age, district, nodes, and landmark within a place, to understand that that could be one of the methods one perceive the city, but not everyone. Okay, not everyone. It could be, in one way, could be just urban design. To us, maybe the path, age, district, nodes, landmark are important, but to the commoner, the public, they don't even care about that. It's like, what about my day-to-day events? So this is just one of the methods by how people look into perceive about the city. Recently, um, last semester, there was one lecturer from UK, Sheffield, came to our school, and he gave a lecture input, and he mentioned that there was a research done in Indonesia. They are trying to testing out these path, age, district, nodes, and landmark within Indonesia, and then they found that it actually doesn't work around that place. Uh, their city is not being perceived in that way. Okay, it's not about path, age, district, and nodes and landmark. So this particular lecturer from Sheffield actually mentioned that he personally doesn't agree with this as well. Okay, he thinks that um, is too urban design. Yeah, it's too designer based rather than commoner based or public user space. But it's still debatable. But that's we are introducing it to you because it's one of the key development throughout the urban design, and this is part of the methods people use to evaluate a city and a town. Okay, as subsequent, we have Jane Jacob. Jane Jacob is actually not even a trained professional in urban designer or architecture. He's just a commoner. He's just a public user, but he holds very strong point and very strong opinion toward the city he is living in. She is living in, and she argued that any successful city requires four necessary conditions: that you have to have a multifunctional neighborhood. Again, okay, sorry. Again, this is related to social culture. That you have to have a multifunctional neighborhood. Multifunctional neighborhood, which means that it's not like the modernism where you just have staying here. If you want to get something, you drive another 30 minutes. If you want to go to work, you drive another 30 minutes. That is not, that is a single function neighborhood. So he believes that a successful city has to have multifunctional neighborhood. You have to have short block and connected straight system that people could access and walk and and move around easily. And you could have various residential areas, different residential area within it, and high concentration of people. Okay, so her argument is that activity on the street should be encouraged, and there are public spaces for social interaction, conversions, a sense of belonging to the local people, and it provides safety. When people started to use the street becomes safe, and it becomes surveillance. Not natural surveillance on the street, because when people using it, they watch one another. If you are a thief, if you are a criminal, you do not dare to make your move. Okay, so and he argues, and I agree with him as well. I will agree with her as well that the street should never be just being the essence of a street oriented, it's not just a pathway, it's just simply a route. The street shouldn't be just simply a route, but it also should be a public space that, when you have road, if you design it nicely, it could become a public space that people can utilize it and use it. And it's more than just uh, the 5 foot walkway, that nobody wanted to be, or you just want to walk quickly and reach your area. But if we design a route nicely, it could be a great experience for all the pedestrian users. So her thoughts in this has later become quite a lot of you have influenced quite a lot of contemporary thinkers, designers such as Jan Gao. Jan Gao is actually architect based. Jenga is actually the architect-based urban designer. Matthew Carmona, and William White. So yeah, so these are the basics of the thing. Okay, and there is another theory, urban design theory, when they understand about the birth of discipline. The Christopher Alexander's written this book, A City is Not a Tree, where he disagree that the city should be like a tree, that it could be a excuse me, it should be a reduction formulist approach, but it should rather be like a subset of overlap, like this, that you can have residential, and then you could have the commercial within it, and there's certainly a park within it. Okay, it should be, the city should be a overlay set of subsets and create the infinity within it. Actually, with this is actually hoping that it will reduce the segregations, within the people, so that people could access from one place to another place easily, rather than they have to travel uh, far from one point to another. Okay. Then subsequently, the development of a discipline. So when we talk about urban design, actually holding up a lot of disciplines. Okay, you talk about then uh, the development is that if we design a density without livability, is like the modernism building. It could give us a slum like a 19th century. Uh, some Okay, so the density without livability is like when we have a lot of super high rise, but actually nobody is living within it. That they just want to hit a figure that could return us to a slum of the 19th century. But if we giving public spaces without small scale fine grained development, then it will give us a vast overscale city. Okay. Um, I will take example of UTM. If you have been to UTM JB, you will realize that our college is where the students stay, okay, and the faculty is where the students study, is actually being placed on an overskilled universities size. It's so far away from one another. Uh, it but UTM in a way is like a small scale fine grained development. But with that, it is really uh, make the whole university sprawl so much that it's become impossible for students to walk. They have to rely on the bus, they have to rely on the car in order for them to come from the faculty to this to the from their where they stay to the faculty. So it's not really a good example too. So as an urban fabric, we wanted to know uh, the quality stand a good chance of meeting many goals we outlined. So we wanted to design the urban fabric in a way that some of it should be high rise, so that you the, the population could densely uh, the density, the population, it can be populated by high density. Some of it we want it to be low rise building, so we open up to public that people could use it, and some of it should be in the middle rise to capture the needs of it, and still within walking distance. So those are the things we are looking into, like how should we design our urban fabric to achieve many goals that we wanted to do. Okay, so um, they directly attempt the issue of livability through they are aimed especially at encouraging public spaces and public life. Okay, but a single urban fabric cannot in itself meet all these goals. We cannot have everything super high rise. We cannot have everything fine grain, small scale. It should be a mix, and we can hit a balance between that. Okay, so these are the things we wanted to look into when we are designing our urban design. Okay. Okay. Subsequently, the challenges for urban design is also that we our everyday life. Uh, yeah, the city is not static. Okay, it's constantly changed. So how do we wanted to adopt that? Then that's how the urban renaissance, the renaissance, uh, sorry, the resilient city come in place. Okay, because we wanted to address the context, and yet the contexts are constantly change, evolve and change. Okay, an urban designer as us, we must able to visualize, okay, and understand the context and provide insight on the urban form and the local context, the social, the culture, the economic and environment and physical, okay, like especially for the urban designer, but at the same time for the social culture student as well. You need to understand how this urban form actually actually um, impact the community that you are designing for. And the vocational applied discipline, the actions, like actually like for which part of it that you have to have physical strategy and master plan uh, uh, in order for you to achieve what you wanted to do. Okay. And then the principle of urban design is urban design as an art of making places for people. Okay. Actually, as an architect, all the buildings that we wanted to design is we wanted to design it for the people. Okay. Uh, we wanted to respond to the city. We wanted to respond to the context. Is because it is part of the way people live and we wanted to design for the people. Okay, so never forget these centrals when we are designing that our building should be contribute or should be focusing on people. It should be people oriented rather than any other things. So it's important to develop an understanding on urban context level, be it whether you are an urban design student or you social culture student. It is very important to understand the urban context levels and their relationship with one another, so that you understand that um, the dimension that make up the city and the network that require it. Okay, so it isn't that if you are not under urban studio, then you do not need to care about the context. No, because the context is how you're going to justify how your urban form is going to be and why are you opening certain entrance facing this direction? Why are you considering your services around here? It's because you understand the context. You understand the urban context level and you propose based on your justification and through this understanding. So it's very important for all of us to really um, develop an understanding on the urban context level before we start working on the project. So you have the ability to engage in the urban discussion and debate, understand the framework principle for urban analysis. These are more of what we hope the urban student will able to achieve. So each principle should be considered across the city and regional scale. Okay, the neighborhood district scale, and the site and block scale. Okay, so it is by considering these three scale together that allow urban design to cross-cut the other design discipline and making sure that it is a place uh, that you could understand and later you could able to work on the design. Okay, when you talk about a city and a region, for instance, okay, city form their actual functions and the ideas and values that people attach to them, making up a single phenomenon. For instance, like KL, when you talk about Bangsa, then you straight away you the Bangsa identity come into your mind, right? It should be uh, high standards, high living expenses. If you talk about another places, Petaling Strait, then another image will come into your mind. Actually, all these districts, they form up together and they make up the whole environment. Okay. So when you started to look into Chowkit and Kampong Park, first you have to zoom out yourself and then look at the whole district. How Chalkit and Kampong Baru relate to one another, and how the whole city regions relate to Chalkit and Kampong Baru. Then it gives you a clearer picture of like, okay, uh, what are their roles and what are their identity, okay, and give you a bit more understanding toward the context. That itself we call it macros, the city regions levels of understanding. And then subsequent, we will go to the neighborhood district. Often that is skill that humans can relate comfortably, and people can have a strong sense of attachment attached to their local neighborhood. Okay, say someone of you now someone told he stay at Rawang. So when you talk about Rawang, he suddenly know that okay, this place, where are the good food, where are the good locations to hang out. Okay, if I want to drive from one place to another, they are aware on how to do it, and they do have a sense of place to that place. So uh, subsequently, is that those are the things that we want to look at within Chowkit and Kampong Baru as well. Okay, and then we move into the human skill, which is the site and the block. The site and the block skill is the strongest social unit in a city. So could be just a building, okay, or few building joining up together. So it's a skill we engage with the place, uh, and this human skill is is a bit, is a skill that where we physically design and construct as an architect. While city can be strategically planned or neighborhood master plan, then after we do all this, then the building block comes in. It could be architectural, could be any public spaces, or housing, a public realm and infrastructures are details and experience and human skill. So after you have done this research on the urban level, understanding everything within this area, and then you will, when you are working on your individual project, you are actually working on a site and a block, okay, where there will be arrangements of land use, there will be arrangement of landscape and how's the urban form and density that shape up that place, okay. And the network within this block, there will be network as well, like how is the networks means pedestrian walkway, mobile, vehicular uh, roads, could be in terms of traffic, of in no, public transportation routes. Those are networks. Okay, so how you would design in a way that you will become reduce car dependent. You could improve the pedestrian network. You could save and develop the network. So these are the things we are looking into arrangement and network between a site and a subsequently, of course, there are other things as well, like the features, the theme. The themes is being spelled out a lot within the urban design compendium. Uh, it will be, I will be sharing with you some slide later as well on this urban design compendium. It's talk about the arrangement and network deal with the physical decision that shape the city. So what kind of themes that you are considering this place have, like a feature of this place have? For instance, if I talk about Kampong Baru, the theme straight away come to your mind, right? Traditional urban, traditional Malay houses. So what about Chowkit? So when you talk about Chowkit, what are the things that actually come into it? So the picture always deal with how our feelings, among the people and how people appear to work or enjoy this place more than one another. For instance, like Kampong Baru, maybe people in one way we have to find out. Maybe people when visiting Kampong Baru they enjoy it more than Chowkit, or it's about the same. So those are the things you wanted to look at. Okay. Places for people, what kind of places, yeah, um, urban design, as I mentioned, is always design decisions with people central. Okay, we wanted to design everything, we wanted to improve everything, not because it is beautiful, not because it um, is more it's cost saving, is because it is actually for the people. Okay, it's meant for the people because only when you have people start living in the city, then you could generate economic, and then from economic, then only you could have development. So people is always the key between it. So places should aspire to be socially just and equitable, inclusive for the benefits of all citizens, and they should be playful and encourage activity and relationships. Okay. Okay, then characters are like what kind of characters that you wanted to put within this building. Okay. Character cannot be created to systematically delivery of arrangement and network. It requires more thought. Okay, this character is often related with own identity, and the own identity always derive from the group of persons using uh, uh, utilizing that places. So it has to be cultural sensitive. Okay, so it requires a place to be designed be beside contextually responsive. It has to be cultural sensitive too. Okay, so this is fall under the social culture part. How do people perceive that place? Do they find that this place comes with its identity? It's because of the cultures that have been immersed on this place for a long time. So those are the things we want to preserve and we wanted to highlight when we are looking at it. Okay, mixed use. Mixed use is where we wanted to mention that we wanted to let go or mitigate single functions building. We wanted places to create, to have multiple reasons, mixing all development together so that, you do not need to drive, you do not need to get your necessity from a very far place. Everything is within the hand. And the mixed use is one of the essential components when you are looking into designing a 15-minute city or a 10-minute city. So that everything is within the range, within the accessible range. Okay, so these are one big component we are looking at within the urban design. Continuity and enclosures. There are times that we want to enclose certain spaces to give privacy. There are times where we wanted to link certain spaces so that people could pass by one place to another place. So those are the things as urban designer we wanted to look at too. So quality of the public realm, that they will have not just having a place to stay, a road to walk, but they do have a public realm where they could spend time, they could utilize this place, and this place had to be safe, legible, and designed for everyone, including children, adults, and disabled. So when you have a good quality public realm, it's actually the happy impacts of the people around that place actually will increase. Okay, we are humans and we tend to wanted to mix around with um the nature, okay, interaction with nature. And the legibility and transparency is a creation of place that are easy to understand for all in society, both in terms of moving around the city. So Cavendish actually provided the legible environment, like what I mentioned, recognizing the routes, strategy notes, and well-considered landmark to access people. So these are legibilities and transparency. Legibility is how easier one uh, move around the city. Yeah, that is called legibility. It's like when you see it, can you get to it? Okay. Can you easily get to it, or you have to really um, it's very difficult without the ways that you couldn't get to that place. So these are about legibility. Okay. Adaptability is what we talk about, the resiliency. How adaptability of a place toward the context. For instance, they could be flexible to their new social market and environment demand. They they could we call it robustness, like, in a way. Or the adaptability is also a bit like robustness. Is how robust this place is. At time, if they wanted to change this place to a market, they can do it. at times, if they wanted to use this place as a car park, they can do it as well. So to respond to the potential opportunity and meet the individual needs, okay? And there are diversity and complexity. So a place should offer varieties of choices. They designed to be inclusive, a variety of range of landscape that come with uh, um, a sweet spot for the people to enjoy. So the place, in a way, it give you a lot of reason to be there. It's just not just one single reason, but yeah, you could be there just to hang out. You could be there to meet your friend, or you could be there just to look into uh, 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 just observe people. Okay. Okay, natural and landscape, and when we design urban design, when we work on urban design, we also wanted to ensure that there's substantial nature and landscape within the place. And the whole design we are looking at is very human scale. It's not more, uh, it's not always super high rise, things like that. It's very human scale, and people could easily uh, uh, mix into that place, use that place uh, without any consideration, too much of a consideration. Okay, so this is the urban design process. Previously, it's just urban design principles, like when you work on it, how should it be? For all of you, okay, all of you will be working on the urban analysis, policy, and the PA, this part together, okay? And then subsequently, the group will started to look into the design layer, the concept, the options, and the design layer. This will be the urbanism uh, uh, student work. But for social culture, they will be looking into the concept and options on purely on the social culture part. So for the other student, they will be working on all of these, and then they will come into the technical design details, design layer, okay, and then uh, produce the master plan. But for the social culture, as I mentioned, you're probably going to work until here. For the pre-thesis stage, you're going to be focused a lot more on the social culture. Okay. Okay. And then I do have um, one more is on very good thing is on the research analysis tool. These are more or less what all of you need to do at the site. Okay, these are more or less of what you need to do at the site. The research analysis tool, actually this work for any groups, okay, doesn't mean that it's only for urban groups, but for urbans, we look into to very detailed. But it's always good because uh, you are in your master year, you cannot be just doing your urban analysis, like looking into the sun path, the wind path, the north point, the view. Those are very, very basic urban analysis. But in order for you to derive and comprehensive uh, 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 issues, you really need a layer of urban context and characters in order to help you for the very first step. So these are I'm just explaining each and every research and analysis tool to you. Uh, then you are aware like what are the scope you need to work on it when you after this you might need to meet up your group mate and started to understand like okay, so which part of it you need to work on it and how you should do it. Okay. So the research analysis tool, the most important thing here is that we wanted to understand the urban context and the character. So we wanted to understand the context and the character of an urban environment. Okay, we want to identify the quality that make this place special. For instance, Kampong Baru and Changi. What make this place so special? Or what quality this place lack of? So we wanted to know more about it. Or it then help us to enlighten us in the design, development, and decision making. Like, what are the things we wanted to improve, or what are the things we wanted to emphasize even more? So, in the history and physical form and characteristic of towns and city, and the behavior of the people who inhabit them. Okay, okay. This behavior of the people is social culture here. And urban design research include the analysis and the aspect of activity, accessibility, and livability. The first thing first is that when you are doing an urban research, you could be looking into a lot of archive research. So what is it? It is like collecting, analyzing a wide range of historical data contained in. So what you needed to do is that you might want to look into the institutional, library, corporate, or public record. Archive research providing history information about the past environment, activity, and structure. Why is it useful? Because it is an invaluable primary and secondary source material where it is not possible to observe, which means that you cannot be spending 3 days at the site and able to know the history. No way, because it's not part and place. So a group of you might need to visit some of the archive, the Archive Negara, to see what are the information that you can retrieve from all this material. And by understanding that, okay, by understanding that, sorry, uh, unwanted copy. Okay, uh, it helps you to know this authentic sense of place. I think too prolonged talking, it's irritating the throat so much. Okay, so you could, from the history and the past experience, from the past heritage and characters and context, you're able to identify what is the authentic sense of place within that areas. Okay, and how is it done? You can be using collections of maps, drawing, photograph, particularly useful for urban design and heritage related research, and then collections of material from natural, the Archive Malaysia, museum, or even university or library or local council library and archive. So you need to visit all these places and get their information. Okay. It could help both groups, the urbans and the social groups. Mhm. Then the accessibility analysis. This is a combination of an accessibility audit. Uh, you wanted to know how exactly one able to go to that place? How are they able to access around the site? Um, so this is called accessibility resource appraisal that you provide which you will provide a base data of whether people can easily get to the place. Do they have healthcare facility, education facility, food shops, or other destinations that are important to local resident well-being and social inclusion? So for the urban student, when you are looking into analysis, you want to look at how many percent of it is educational facility, how many percent of it is actually healthcare. Is it this play without school? Is the school sufficient? So maybe based on those data, you can come up with a typology that you wanted to provide a civic center because you realize that there isn't one around the place to facilitate the community needs. So those data will actually lead you to your building typology, your personal project later stage. So by providing a base data and evidence to guide decision making and the creation of accessibility action plan, this is like part of the access plan where it shows where is the main route. Then this could be the site they are studying, and these are the main route that comes across. This could be the proposed site they are having, so they are aware that this is the route that goes to the proposed site, and then how they get out to another places and how people are able to access to that place. Okay. These are another type, the movement. They are studying, for this, they are studying like which are the main road, primary road, which are the secondary road, and which are the tertiary roads within the site. These are talking about the traffic. For traffic, previously the students will stand at the site to calculate car by car, but now we have Google Maps. I think particularly from the Google Maps, we could actually obtain quite a lot of information as it's actually much more accurate because it was done like a year, unlike us only like 5 days. So these are the uh, the way that integrate the graphic they are using here. Like it's very busy road from all days long is totally red. If it is a moderate used road, they put it in orange. Subsequent different levels. So at one glimpse, you can actually see, evaluate. If your site is around here, then you understand that okay, I have to design my building so walkable that surrounding people, if they wanted to come to my site, they do not need to depend on any car. So those are the decisions or the design direction you might heading towards. Okay. And subsequently, these are transportation and traffic. For instance, okay, like when the social culture group they are apa? They are doing interview, they might want to ask where do you stay? Okay. And then they will ask, okay, if they say they are living at Chowkit, so where do you work? You want to know where exactly do they work? Do they work nearby Chowkit? Or actually they are like this. They could be staying around here, but every day they are traveling towards the other places. Like, you know, a lot of Johorians, they travel to Singapore to work daily. So those will create a lot of influx and outflux of traffic within a place. So you wanted to know as well, like they live at childcare, how much time they spend at childcare, or most of the time actually they just live here but they spend their times elsewhere. So those are the things that you wanted to know, and then you understand their human behavior. I will try to finish by once. Okay, and then the behavior observations, the observation that track, record on map and diagram. Okay, behavior observation is something very very fun. Activity mapping is called human watching. Okay, you Dr. Sharifa is one good uh, good lecturer that really enjoy doing that. Like you find a place, sit down, and then you just started to observe how people react to a certain place. At times, we do ask people to tailgate someone else as well, but make sure making just to make sure that you don't freak out those people. So the behavior mapping is actually understanding. You see how people use that place. Do they people stop and started to do some other activity, or do they just rush to from one place to another place? Or while they are rushing, did they get attracted by something and decided to sit at that place to rest a bit? So these are behavior observation because every behavior is telling the designer something about that place. Okay. Like one people that rush from one place to another place without stopping. Properly that place quality is so low or it looks very dangerous that people do not feel safe to stop. Okay. And when you see someone enjoying the walk slowly, uh, technically it means that the quality over that place is good. People feel that it's safe and there are variety of choice of reason to keep people there. So those are the behavior mappings, activity mapping we talk about. At which point, what are they doing and when and why? So those are the things we tell you. This place, a lot of people hang out around here. So you, if you're gonna build buildings around this place, so probably you need to consider a kind of like an open places, so open public spaces for people to hang around. So those are the decisions derived because you understand the site. Mm, mm. Okay, and there are physical trace observations. Physical trace observations. physical trace observation. Okay, what does physical trace observation means? Is that when you look at certain, like for instance, pathway. When you look at the pathway, it's so beautiful, so nice, so clean. What does it tell you? Maybe nobody is using it. That's why it's so clean, so intact. So when you look at another path, it is damaged, heavily used, worn out, some chip off. What does that tell you? That is a very, very heavily used pathway. And where does that lead to? So those are the things that when you observe the physical things, what does it tells you? Yeah. Uh, the reason sometimes why some pavement they look so clean and untouched is because designer think that that is a better way, okay, to put the pathway. But as a human being, we are all very, very smart creations. Okay, if there is a shortcut, who would want to use the long cut, right? So sometimes designer, in UTM we have this case, like they carve out this nicely uh, walkway around this car park. Hoping that the student will walk around it. But the students understand that to walk straight is the shortcut. Every one of them climbing this trade road and then climb up to the car park and walk to the faculty, actually walk to Bamboo. Slowly, the HEP, the however Belajar, or together with the Pembangunan, they decided to build a staircase around there because they finally realized that nobody is using the walkway they walk. So it's also back to designer ego. Sometimes we think this is good, but come on, we are all human beings, smart human beings. We won't spend another 30 seconds to walk the route that you think is best for us. We're gonna find the shortcut. So as an urban designer, we wanted to observe all these things and making sure that when we are designing something, it's not because our ego, it's because we know this is what the people need. Okay. Okay, and this is the behavior observations, like how many pedestrian flows walk around from one place to another. So when they put up a slightly wider uh, graphic, it means a lot of people are using it. But is this the smallest one? You know that it's not much of people using it. Okay, so these are kind of like graphic you can use. Building age profile, it will be quite relevant to all of you because because of Kampong Baru side, there will be a lot of building that has a lot quite high heritage values in it. So you might wanted to understand like which building is being built 18th, 1920, and understanding the heritage. Is there any heritage present within it or character area within it that you wanted to identify? And it influence the way you design, maybe when you are designing to suit the kind of character within that place. Okay. These are the building age. If it is the buildings, significant buildings, you highlight it saying that all these buildings are so significant. So when you are designing, you wanted to respond to those buildings. Okay, character appraisal, when your identification of typical development pattern that illustrate established urban neighborhoods. Like I think I mentioned a bit during the last slide, is where you understand, okay, this group of people they are staying around here. First, because of this group of people staying around, their cultures, the way they have their day-to-day living actually shaped the character within that place too. So you wanted to either to enhance it or either it's not a very good character, then what are things you want to do to improve it? Like like these are one character they analyze. They are the second character they analyze, they have within it. Okay, sometimes the character can be by the land use as well. It could be a residential, this could be a commercial. Okay, it gives some kind of character within it. Okay. Crime prevention through environmental design safety. Safety is one of the things that we wanted to identify within our site because you can have a super beautiful buildings, you can have a super nice areas, but it is not safe. It's not gonna draw crowds. Nobody is gonna be there. So we wanted to look into this crime prevention. How safe is that place? And when we are designing the place, does it come with a lot of snatch tips? Does it come with a lot of homeless issue, that causing this kind of fear within it? So those are the things that we wanted to look into it. So a good quality, good urban design places, safety is actually a key element within it. Okay. And then the legibility analysis, I think I mentioned it, the age, path, landmark, nodes. Okay, how we wanted to use that perceive how a house is, how legible is the place. Okay, so like this is a graphic show that okay, if that place is very, very a minor landmark, you can have a small landmark. If it's a major landmark, you can put it as a big landmark. Then people will know that okay, if I really have to design a building, I can only respond to one. Which one I should respond to? It's this because it's a major landmark in comparison with the other one. Okay, this survey, big part of it actually will be done by the social culture groups. So this survey, a systematic way of determining the view and opinion of a large number of people on a particular topic through the use of interview and structured questions or a standardized question A. So you wanted to meet people and you wanted to know what they want. Okay. Question A, you must for every question that you design, you must place the objective at the side. What do you actually want to get out of it? If you ask them, are you female or male? Actually, what you wanted to know. Okay. If you ask them, are you a Chinese? What is your ethnic? What are the things you wanted to know? Okay. So for every questions that you put down, remember that you always need to put down the objective. Okay. What is it for? Okay, and what are the things you're trying to get? Because if you do not put up the objective first, you might not able to get what you want. Okay, you might be designing the questionnaire. Ultimately, you get 100 packs, fill it up, and then when you wanted to get this data out, you say, "Oh, I don't have a question for this data." So those are not a good question. So you must sit down and look into that. So for this questionnaire, coming week, I hope that all of you could get it done. And then you could give me a copy of it and I could look through it and then probably I could advise you on what are things that you need to refine or what are things that you need to readjust slightly. Okay, and then these are the survey, and after you get all of it, how should you portray your information actually through all these bar chart, line chart, pie chart, radar chart that you can tell how you're going to tell people regarding what is really happening within site. Okay, urban morphology, the analysis technique used to study and present the past historical patterns of urban structure, form, land use, and pattern. You wanted to know which part of places come first. And then just secondly, where come in, which part of places come in, and why people started to have this part of the town. Is it because of the overspill of these people they actually moved toward that path? So how is it? So you wanted to understand the urban morphology, understand like the historical pattern, urban structure of the place. Okay, yeah, these are the urban grain. Understanding that okay, these are the 1900, and then subsequently it come like this. So yeah, to understand how the city is being grown, is how is the development happening. Solid and void. Solid and void is particularly important to study understandings like within a city, how much void, how many percent of void is being contributed as public spaces. Is it too congested? No, if you have too much solid, is it too congested? So with that, you can understand the relationship between a built form and the open spaces, and what is a good percentage, if you are looking at having a place that is human enough for people. Okay, so those are the things that you have to look at too. Okay, and subsequently, after you get all the urban inventory, okay, you will have to go into the urban analysis. I think I mentioned it before. And subsequently, you will have to go into the site synthesis. Okay, I think site synthesis, all group of you like laboring, putting down, all group of you can do it. After synthesis, will be on the design part, like the urban master plan. That part will be on the urban groups. Then the rest of you will go into your individual groups. But the science synthesis, all of you could come together because some of you might be doing different things. You might be doing about the survey. He might be doing just on the character. So you want to sit down and you want to share the information with one another. And once you synthesize everything, technically saying, you just have to hold this synthesis throughout the semester when you're designing a project. You just have to look. So if I'm proposing this, do I actually match what's the synthesis that I have produced? So you just have to cross-check on that point. Okay? Yeah. So after this, then it will be totally two different groups. While one group will be focusing social housing, social culture on residential high-rise. Another group will be on the public buildings where you're going to be looking into a different building technology. Okay. With that, I will end the slide here. I will be sharing all this information with all of you later at the Google Drive. Now I open to you. Do you have any questions or too much to take at one point? It's okay. If you find that it's too much, it's fine. I think all of you might not expecting such a long lecture today. The reason being why I wanted to put it forward is because next week we are going to meet you at site. So when you're at site, you have to know what you need to do already. So if I drag this until next week, it will be a bit late. So I'm giving all of you as a glimpse, understanding what you need. You might still feel very, very lost, like what am I gonna do? It's okay. Go to the Google link site, click on your senior works and look at their works. It will give you a better understanding. But just that this time round, we're gonna have an extensive groups where they're gonna focusing social culture around on this particular site. But all of you gonna work hand to hand together. Okay. Okay. Any questions? No. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chen,
Yeah.
I think we need to request for access in order to access the
Oh,
Google link just now.
okay, because I started using UTM email. So some of you still do not have UTM email, right?
Yep.
So long you are using UTM email, then you can access it straight away. But if you do not have, okay, then I will set it to public. So later, then you can access it.
All
I
right.
haven't
Thank
put
you.
in, I haven't put in the things yet. Don't worry. Okay. Um, I missed out one thing. Let me recap back. Regarding this. I think just now I will say, okay, as regarding this part, this is one of the part integrated Office Studio tasks. Okay, okay, okay. These are the tasks that we want the student to work in a group of two. Okay, and study in depth on the following topic according related to real case study or office project. This is a peer learning project. Okay. Um, the reason we are doing it is because we received comment from the Lembaga, received comment that we should encourage a bit more peer learning among all of you. So this activity is actually not part of the urban project, okay, but is part of the project where we wanted all of you to have this peer learning uh, of what you are doing within your office project. So it has to be either a real case study. Real case study means this project has been built. Okay, it could be a office project built but not handled by you. Fine, you can use it. Or could be an office project that is ongoing under your hand and you wanted to use it to do this study. You can do that as well. But what we want is that it should be a case study of building typology that you could bring this project to discuss with us either the case study of building typology. For instance, if that building is actually a transit-oriented development building, okay, you can call it a TOD building, okay, or you can have any sports center, community leisure or gallery, okay, or it can be a case study of construction technology. Okay, that building they are using bumper decks, so it's a very interesting project. You can talk about the bumper decks as well, the project, the kind of construction technology they are using, or it can be a case study of urban streetscape site planning. If your office are doing a lot of urban design, you can find a case study, find a project from your office, talk about one of the elements within this. Okay, this is mainly as a peer learning among all of you, so that when you present two by two, the rest of them will listen, okay, and then they will pick up something from your side as well. So, and this part of it, I will inform you and exactly where will be the times that you will present on this finding. Okay. So this part of it is not actually on the urban studies, but it's a separate exercise where we wanted you to share with your peers of what you are doing in your office or some case studies, some office projects which could benefit others. So that because all of you, I'm sure all of you, you are you have a lot of different experience in your office. And in one way or another, you are actually at a better advantage or better position than the Perdana student because you have working experience in your office. And that's why we want to write on those experience. And we wanted to utilize that experience, to benefit the whole batch together. Okay. Um, we are in the situations where we are trying to justify to land that Persistil is nothing less than Perdana. Okay. So by having all these case study or the peer learnings, in one way or another is to showcase to the Lembaga Architect Malaysia to see that when we are running Persistil, actually all of you have different side of advantage, different side of strength in comparison with the Perdana students. Okay. For your information, I think Dr. PC did mention we are still in the process of getting accredited to be accredited by Lembaga Architect Malaysia. So they are already having these doubts, thinking that the rest of the people spending 5 days to study, you are only spending 2 days. Is that sufficient? So we wanted to prove in other ways that wow, you are just studying 2 days. Actually, there are other strengths that these specific groups students hold within your study. Okay, so this part of it, you could find your friends, 2 person in a group, and just find study in depth on one of the following topics. Okay. Okay. I will be sharing this later to all of you. Okay, good. I think I keep my promise. I finished by 1. Not easy. Okay, so good. Ongoing, fine. I think ongoing is fine. Side project ongoing is fine. But it has to be already about to be built. Ongoing means it's building, right? So it will, without any hiccups, it should be a big building in future. So it's fine. Possible. By the way, Dr. PC just mentioned it has to settle some new students' procedures, registration procedures. So whoever from Enviro, he will give you a briefing the other day, on another day. Just now someone asked about what about the environment brief? Actually, sorry, it's a typo. I will be giving social culture and urban brief within that link. For Enviro, the course information and the brief you need to get from Dr. PC. Okay, there will be three of you. Okay, so without anything, I will dismiss all of you now. I do not know what happened. It's okay, fine. But if I didn't reply, you just remind me. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everyone. I shall see all of you next week. By the way, quickly select the leaders and text me. The leader, please text me so that I can give informations, updated information as the week goes by. Because next week I'm gonna see all of you. You might want to know what time, where is the place, things like that. Okay, so after this, get to know one another, quickly set up one WhatsApp group. Someone have to take the initiative. I do not know who. Take up one WhatsApp group, and then discuss among yourself regarding whatever necessary arrangement that you need. Thank you. Okay, okay, bye.
Thank you.